And now, live from the Man Cave, Studio B, deep in the heart of constitutional Livingston County, Michigan, on another Tuesday night rant. Who is really in charge? With co-hosts Patrick Acton, Dean McBride, the lovely Tisha Jones, yours truly, me. This is my brain, and your host with the most gas, Jeremy Scott Gibbs. No cats were harmed in the filming of this podcast.
And they should have been harmed
to the,
if they belong to you.
The beans from dinner?
Beans from dinner.
Refried beans. And I'm surprised Larry's there with a fan blowing at him.
Beans, the magical fruit. The more you eat, the more you toot.
Beans.
This could be a really lively
The more you toot, the
okay.
better you feel, so be sure and eat beans at every meal.
Could be
that what it
beans
is?
are good for your heart.
The more you eat, the more you fart.
Yeah.
As we pull back from
I
that
mean,
gorgeous fish out there. Look at that. Oh,
Poor
look at that.
Tish.
Look at that camera work there, buddy. That's just beautiful.
Did anybody get the nose plugs for Tish?
You know what, Larry? You're on probation.
listen, never mind. I'm not going to disclose any secrets, but
Yeah.
I can hold my own in this.
Shit. The gauntlet has been thrown down at the beginning of the show.
You've been known to clear a room in a time or two.
Do we need to get another kind of bomb besides the F-bomb for the
Damn
show?
straight.
I guess so.
The F-bomb has a new meaning.
Apparently.
Hey, where is the F? Oh,
Yeah, the F does not mean... Oh, never mind.
You know what? The F-bomb is actually downstairs because apparently the grandchildren decided to take it out in the field and play with it.
oh my.
And I'm like, really? You guys? Maybe
You need
should-
anyone?
Playing with the F-bomb.
So if it's not here, then that means we have like free reign.
No, it means you can't say it.
Buddy, it's
I
going
lean
to
the
be a
other
good
way.
show.
Here, let Dino go get it. Let Dino go
Do you know
get
where it is?
Yeah.
All right.
All
Can't
right.
have a show without the F-bomb.
Can't have a show. Apparently not. Apparently not. No show
I'm
without
here.
the
There
F-bomb.
has to be an F-bomb. So.
Welcome everybody to the show. I'm going to go right over to chat. Oh, somebody's phone.
Oh, somebody's phone.
Oh, naughty.
Not
Your
I.
phone's still on.
Oh, maybe.
Let's see. Oh, I got to adjust you guys across there because I didn't even
Am I
pay
sitting
attention
on
to
the floor again? I feel like I'm sitting on the
that. You
floor.
probably are. Let's see. I got to have Patrick move just a little bit. I'll move a little bit, and Patrick is going to be. You're pretty good, Patrick. I got to adjust myself because I had a fabulous show on Sunday. If you guys didn't check that show out, please go check that out.
Thanks.
There's the F-bomb.
There's the F-bomb.
'Cause I
Oh,
had a fabulous show on Sunday. If you guys didn't check that show out,
Oh,
please
you
go
dirty,
check that out. Dirty dog.
Uh-oh.
I came up here for a sound check earlier today,
Yes.
and I'm like, what is going on? And I'm not hearing anything. And I come over and I go, oh, Rumble's volume's off.
okay.
So I turned the Rumble volume on so that I could hear myself and do a sound check over here, right?
Yeah.
So I just clicked onto the video that we're streaming right now,
Hi.
and the audio is on, not default shut off
Oh,
like it was when I
right.
clicked on it.
Because why not? Right?
Mr. Coffee's in the house. The two Turkey Palooza's there. Yeah, we're not feeding into your all caps tonight, buddy. Your all caps.
You can go F-bomb yourself.
Bro, you can go F-bomb yourself. Welcome to the show, though, everybody. Tune in. Share the link. Get it out there. It should be good. And I got to adjust your guys' camera. It looks horrible over there.
I'm shining bright.
Oh, I got to zoom out just a hair. Yeah, let's zoom that out just a hair. There we go. We'll reset the setting for number 1. I did go through and do these ones today. There's Larry up close,
Look
right
at
there.
you.
And then if I go to Tisha,
Hi, everybody.
boom. And then I go to
glowing.
Dino.
And positive.
And then I go to Dino. I push the button and it didn't want to work.
Hi.
And then I come back to everybody at the table. So I was like, oh, I'm going to have 3 people there. I'll go back to that. So that worked out pretty good. Yeah.
Who
And then, of course,
Shuka,
just me and
Shuka.
Patrick over here. We'll bounce it back and forth. But welcome, everybody. Tisha is overexposed. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Thank you,
I am.
cameraman.
I am.
I turned the lights up because I was doing stuff up here. And
Thanks.
Don't mess with
I'm
the
not
lighting.
glowing anymore.
I'm trying to figure out which
People
one it
will
is. It's
get the
probably that
wrong
one.
damn idea.
You were too white.
Wrong
Wait.
damn.
Hey, I have been
idea.
called neon white before, so if I'm gonna be called that, I might as well show up. That way.
Exactly. Let us know in the audience out there in the audience if there's any issues. I think I've worked through most of the issues.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying that to test. I'm saying that as a test.
You definitely have not worked through your issues.
I can.
You know, it's one thing to work through all your issues and then have all the people around you and the technology in your hands fuck with you.
Right.
Yeah.
Like those
Have fun.
And then you
Updates.
go, oh, I guess I still have issues.
updates.
Yes,
Oh,
updates.
God.
Oh, this computer over
Oh.
here asked me if I wanted to update,
So,
and I'm avoiding it with a
Absolutely
passion.
not.
I'm like, dude. Well, that's what happened. What was last week or
Yes.
2
Last
weeks
week.
ago?
Jeez.
Tuesday. Well, because we missed last week. So the last
The
time,
week before.
the 2 week. It was 2 weeks ago, but it was the last Tuesday show. Yeah, it updated over here and
Scramble
Right
the
in the
So
middle.
shit.
stupid.
Worst
My
damn
Android
time.
was
oh,
Yeah.
jacked
it
up
had me going. Look at that. And what? I just lost. Oh, I've got a different pack, and I just hit the thing. I just hit the.
Yeah.
I switched to this different style of, like you guys all have, the same style as you guys have, but
Okay.
none of you clip it on your belt. And I leaned forward and it like turned the
No, I
volume
put it in
completely
my
off. And I went,
pocket.
what?
What?
Because the buttons are on top.
Right.
Because I'm used to using that one, and that stupid thing on Sunday gave me
Just do what we
so
do,
much
just lay it on
noise,
top.
dude. I was
Oh
like,
no. That's never fun.
it was just freaking out. And my phone died. I had it plugged in downstairs, and
Excellent.
so there, you can sit over there and be dead. I don't care. Be gone with you.
Right.
All right, welcome. We want to talk about who's in charge. Who's really in charge? Look at
Jeremy is in charge.
this up here.
Mm-hmm.
Up in the man cave.
Yeah.
In the man cave. Jeremy's in charge.
You know what? If it goes good, it's my fault. If it goes bad, it's
It's
my
your
fault.
fault. And if we give you a hard time, we get to eat a bottle of
DeSerrano,
Serrano.
I will chuck that thing right at your head.
I'll just buy another one. I'll just buy another
Don't doubt
one.
that.
Those
yes.
De Serrano
Let me
bottles
see.
fly better than a 747.
It was good that you know what? It was good. It was really good that the glass door was
He's
open
starting
Yes.
early.
for the wood shop because I chucked it all the way into the wood
It is
shop.
a good thing that
Are you
that fish
serious?
tank
Been
is
some
there.
damage. Yes,
I keep-
for sure.
For everybody who wants to know, I do keep
Extra
there's
empties.
three empties up here just in case I
Just
need
a
to.
chuck.
Forget Chuck-a-Puck. We got Chuck-a-Decent.
They should really sponsor the show. I see Jeffrey Amayo here, the blackest man in Livingston County, ready to take down the low energy Mr. Coffee. So Mr. Coffee chimes in. He says,
Low energy.
Lower
Mr.
energy.
Coffee.
He goes,
I had a
he
good
goes, I'll
time
get,
with you.
Mr. Coffee says, I'll get you in a minute. I got to go choke my wife out.
Oh my God.
There's some
Wow.
banter going on in the chat already.
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
You
wow.
guys are hyped up, man.
I don't have it.
You know what? I was hyped up today because we missed last week's show, and Mr. Coffee didn't realize Larry had posted, said we weren't doing a show, just said family. What do you say? Family Matters,
Yeah.
not the TV show, but
yeah.
it was no. And Mr. Coffee thought that maybe there was something wrong, so he came and visited me today. No, nothing wrong. My grandson in 2nd grade and my granddaughter in 5th grade both had music recitals, and her recital didn't start till 7:15 and was supposed to go 45 minutes. And I said, well, automatically I can't cook dinner,
Right.
and I would have to do all the show prep before I left for this thing, and trust that everything's ready. And I wouldn't be able to hit the buttons and do all the stuff to get it ready before. So I'm like,
And what time did you show back up anyways?
like 10 o'clock.
10 o'clock. So
Well, once I knew that we were canceling the show, then I said, well,
Oh,
we went out to eat at Wings, etc. Shout out to Wings, etc.
absolutely.
We've got to put a set list together for the 30th. I will be playing on the 30th there at Wings, etc. It's a
fun.
Friday night. So Dean and I are going to put together a set list. We worked on a song actually last night.
Let's do it right now. You wanna take my picture?
Yeah, I was trying to think of the first line.
I will remember.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we were working on. Anyways, they're just
So
going
funny,
nuts in the
yeah.
chat. Anyway, so tonight I said I had to kick it up a notch. I had a flank steak that I pulled in the freezer and let thaw out. I don't know, a week and a half ago, whatever. And I marinated it, and I was going to try and cook it like Saturday, and then Saturday got all flipped around.
Right.
And I had the flank steak and I had the ribs, both ready to go. And I said, what am I doing for the podcast? So Sunday's podcast, I threw those beef ribs in the slow cooker.
fair.
Did a little over 7 hours soak on that, and Ben ended up being the only one in the studio, and he was like, those, and we both ate the ribs, and those are great. I don't know if you tried them when you got.
I did.
Did you had some later?
I did.
Oh, you didn't?
I did.
Oh, you did.
I
They were
did.
tasty.
I
right?
dug into them later.
They were tasty.
They were tasty.
And so then I still had this flank steak that I had marinated on Saturday night. Or
Okay.
threw in a marinade bag at the same time that I did the ribs. That set, and I was like, I'm like, all right, you're gonna just stay in the fridge until Tuesday. So it marinated for like 2.5 days.
That's funny.
And I'm like, all right, this flank steak's gonna be nice and tender. Hopefully it was. The pieces that
was.
I ate were
It was.
That was good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
And so then I was like chopping up the peppers and the onions and just some refried beans and some. The guys looked and I said, yeah, I'm doing the whole. I go,
Yeah.
what I say? How did I do it? I goes, I got to do the whole thing tonight.
Dude.
We didn't have a show last night, so I got to kick it on up.
Yeah.
So we were having fun. Anyway, so that was good. The steak fajitas.
What time the festivities start at Wings, etc.?
We will start singing at 6:30. They've got us booked from 6:30 to 9, so we'll be getting in there.
Dude, we'll rock it.
We'll rock that place out.
6:30 to
We'll
9.
get so much
Yep.
money.
I don't know if I'm working or not.
Money.
I mean, I'm working, but I don't know if I open or close.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm tentatively penciled in for July 18th, so that's a long ways away.
What's he got you rated at?
What?
Like $200 a night? I see it. I see it. I see it.
It'd be all right.
Yeah.
When you at Cozy Inn?
You know what? I don't know when we're going to get back to Cozy because the manager started dating the guy who has his own band. So
Shit.
he comes in and plays for her for free.
Oh, see how that works?
She's like, I was like, well, because for a while there, they're like, you got to come in and just play some acoustic stuff. I'm like, okay. She's like, we come in and what are you going to, she's like, because I can have my boyfriend come and play for free. And I'm like, it's all good.
You should do
No,
that.
the boys are working on
Yeah.
stuff. There's a bunch of other stuff. I think there's the Barn Fest has started up their
It's pissing me off.
open mic night
Thursday
on Thursdays. I'm gonna check the temps. If it's decent weather, I think I'll drag Dino and I over there on Thursday. If it's a little too cold,
Here we go.
I played the last. I played the first 2 weeks in October, and then Mom wasn't well enough after that, so I missed the last 2 weeks. But it was already cold those 2 nights, and so you're like warming your hands up, and then you get up there and play, and singing. So it was. They do have, I think they do have a little heater right inside the barn, but there's no other heat, stuff like that. Anyways, so dinner was good. So shout out, to Wings, etc. over there. Shout out to the hair crew right here in Howell. My hair done there. Patrick, where do you get your hair done?
Ain't gonna do nothing.
At what is it? Riverside Salon in downtown Linden.
They take care of you?
They take care of me. Yep.
Okay.
Nice folks.
Right? Dino ventured out without me. Couldn't wait.
I couldn't wait.
And then
You told me.
you
to
couldn't.
go
No,
get my hair
I'm
cut.
setting it all up. You couldn't wait.
He did.
He goes. He comes in the one day and he goes, "Boss, we gotta get a haircut.
Haircut?
Let's go." And I'm like, I can't do it right now, dude. I got too much on my mind. He's like, all right.
Alright,
And then
fine.
he waited a couple of days. And then I come in, I go, Dean, you got your hair cut.
And you know what
And he goes-
happened when I
he
did
goes-
that?
He got his cut.
Oh, the lady cut my neck with a
Ow.
straight razor.
Oh, so we won't give a shout out to them.
No, we can't give a shout out
No,
to them.
no.
I was pissed. I was like, oh, this should be professional if you knew what you were doing.
Right. So I went over to Vicky. Well, I had to tell Dino. I come in and I go, oh, you got your hair cut. I said, dude, I've been meaning to tell you for the last day and a half that Vicky scheduled us hair cuts because I've been going with Vicky since Dad passed over there. And she just, are you available this day? And I'm like, yeah. And then I'm like, oh, I got to tell Dino because he's been wanting to get his haircut. And he walked in and he's got his haircut. And I go, dude, I'm so glad you got your haircut because I kept forgetting to tell you. And I'd be a dick if I walked
We
in.
know now. I'll just wait
Yeah.
instead of getting my neck cut.
Yeah.
You know?
I've had it happen where I nick the top of my ears with that straight razor.
Sometimes we anticipate when we should just wait.
We got some serious questions going on in the chat. Papa
Already?
Bob wants to know if anybody has heard that Jiffy Pop has been recalled recalled due to a choking hazard.
What? Say that again?
They're talking about the whole guy running for office here in town that choked out. Remember we went over the guy choking it up? They're making jokes about that.
Yes. Jiffy Pop.
Y'all.
Good evening, Baron.
Yeah, what's Biden's buddy's name that he talks about all the time? Corn Pop?
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Yeah, Corn Pop we got Jiffy Pop.
Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he hung with about a lot of bad dudes. And they took top of my head off to see if I had a brain.
The answer is no.
Obviously not. The
You know what?
findings were inconclusive.
You know what Grandma was?
I think his prostate cancer started in his brain.
Yeah, you know what
But he
Grandma
ate his
said
brain
about all
first.
And it creeps me the fuck out.
that. That's my mom.
Yeah. All right. The F bomb goes to Grandma Connie first in the show.
No, I did it. I did it first.
He had it first.
And then I mouthed two more at you
Oh.
that I didn't enunciate properly.
He's
But let's do
holding
this.
it
Let's
hostage. I
let's
can't
kick
have
through
it
the
tonight,
disclaimers real quick.
Disclaimers.
And
Well, we got
since
to recap dinner first.
Yes.
I was on that. Go.
Well, Jeremy made fajitas, steak fajitas with fried up onions and peppers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Refried beans.
Larry ate too many refried beans.
It's going to be a hell of a
Larry,
show.
you were told not to eat the refried beans or the onions.
But
Uh-oh.
Tisha has vowed to give him a run for his money.
Okay.
She's like,
Even without the refried beans and onions, because I had none of either.
Of course. No refried beans or onions or peppers.
Or peppers. I can have beans if I actually like them, but I don't, so I don't eat
Okay.
them.
You know what?
I'm allergic to peppers and onions. That's
I made myself a really nice
why I
fajita,
had to move down the bar.
and then I took maybe 6 bites, and I just couldn't do any more, and I needed to do the paper, and I needed to set a couple other things up, and so I put it in the. It'll be there,
be there on
but it was. I got it stacked, and you know what I like to do?
he
I
had
like
his stacks too.
sometimes I like to do like a flour tortilla
Okay.
and put the beans down,
Yeah.
and then put a corn tortilla on top of that,
Ooh.
and then put the fajita on it
We gotta stop
with the
doing
rice in there, and then put the rest of the toppings on it. And Dino saw me. I grabbed the verde. I don't like to do the.
green
Man,
chip.
I love
I don't like to do
verde.
the regular
Salsa?
hot sauce. Yeah, or taco sauce. I like to do the
Okay.
verde.
Yeah.
And so I ran that verde right down there. And he goes, what is that?
What do you got in
What
your
is that
hand?
green chip?
I goes, that's that verde.
That's
That's,
that
that good
verde.
green sauce. You know what's annoying going to Taco Bell? You can buy a couple things and there's some verde sauce or something with it.
Right.
But they used to have the verde sauce in the packets. Right with all the hot sauce.
Exactly.
They did.
And they'll ask me, they'll go, in the drive-thru, they'll go, "Would you like anything else with that?" I'd like some verde sauce. Oh, well, you can't get it unless you order those 1 or 2 specific items on there, and you get a little
There's a
cup of it.
stopper.
And I'm like, dude, you got a hot, the medium, and the mild. Give me the verde sauce because that's what I
Give
like.
it
Anyways,
trying to cut corners and save some money.
yeah. So good stuff. Let me hit you. I got
What do you
you.
mean?
No, I was hitting your button.
I put
Um,
steak on my salad while you guys weren't watching.
Well, Grandma used to do a lot of different cuts or stuff like that. She would take the scissors and chop up all the stuff.
Oh,
and do
that's
it.
right. She used to like
Yeah.
those
I pulled
Yeah.
it apart a little bit and
Yep.
had some on my salad. I did. I mean, I had a basically beef and cheese taco, but soft taco. But
That's good.
just can't handle the rest of it. Sorry, it was a little rough for me
We
today.
had shredded lettuce and mashed up onions.
And so we had cooked onions, red onions, and chopped up white onions. The whole and then you chopped up some
tomatoes and peppers,
the little cherry tomatoes.
Yep. Lettuce.
It was a beautiful spread tonight.
It was.
John Bovey's claiming that I don't know about Diablo. Yes, I do know about Diablo sauce, and it's dumb.
It's too hot for anyone.
Dude, some of those sauces are just stupid. They're like burn your face off. I'm like, why? Larry likes to do that.
Yeah.
What?
Hot sauces that burn your face off.
Yeah. It's like, why? Yes,
Why?
Why do that?
That's why you have no sphincter control.
I like making fun of people who do that shit, but
I mean, I don't eat stuff that's that hot. Like Asian zing sauce from.
Yeah.
That's
not-
about as hot as I go.
Dale,
That's
that's what I do,
half
Dale.
right?
I get the good Verde sauce from the grocery store.
Occasionally, I'll indulge with the mango habanero sauce.
Yeah, so it was a good dinner.
it was good.
It was, yes.
It was easy for me to customize.
Papa Bob says he only uses the 239 bean in a recipe if he's doing beans. He has
That's
to use
because if you add one
Good
more bean,
grief.
it
would be
It's
too
too farty?
farty.
Yeah, that's
Our-
exactly what he said in the
Take
chat.
the one last
Yeah.
bean out,
Yeah.
so that way.
That
Not
is
too very,
ridiculous.
yeah.
But Baron was noting earlier that he has a South African friend that watched the show and appreciated the coverage of what's going on. If you guys didn't get a chance, and I think we were somewhat shadow banned because I used the word genocide in the title. But we had an awesome show on Sunday, speaking with a gentleman from South Africa, Yako. I kept calling him Jocko with a hard J, and it's a soft J. So it was Yako. But Yako is a farmer from South Africa, and he travels here to Michigan at least once a year. So we made a tentative date for him to be in studio. But we did a great Zoom with him, and then we had Ben Wetmore in studio. That was a great, the whole interview. I had a blast. So if you guys haven't had a chance to watch that, go watch that. I reposted it again on X just because I think it was shadow banned because I used the word genocide, and they probably. I'm like, this is not on par with every other show, and all of our shows are pretty consistent right now about our view counts at least on Rumble.
Do you find yourself trying to pick out a South African accent?
I don't, and I didn't bring up Kim Clement when I was talking with him.
Yeah.
I'm like, I knew Kim's whole story, read his books, and I'm like, so when I was talking, I was like, even when I read some of the news copy, I was like staying away from it because I didn't want to.
Yeah,
I didn't want to.
It's real. So there was a gentleman at the conference I went to this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
He was from South Africa. It took me like 3 seconds of listening to his voice to go, I wonder.
South African.
So when he got up to go get more food, I asked the people that he was with, and they were like, "Oh yeah, he's from South Africa."
You know what I think?
I was like, I think I can tell, and I think I know why.
You know what I think
just,
is equally as interesting as the accent itself is the phraseologies, the nuance, the words that they use for things. Especially, we had somebody that we connected with in Australia for quite a few years, Peter and. Were you ever around when I was talking with Peter and his wife?
No.
I can see your face. Peter and, anyways, Peter from Australia.
Okay.
And the way that they would talk, like she'll be all right.
Okay.
And that means it'll be okay.
Right.
Yeah, she'll be all right. And I'm like, who's she? And why is she all right?
What?
Right. It's like, no, she'll be all right. And there were so many other phrases that so it wasn't just the way that they spoke, but then the words that they use. I think of the movie Snatch.
Okay.
When he goes blagged in this part, he's talking about the bookies being robbed. He goes, Blag? He's like, what is that? He's like, Blag, you know, robbed. He's like, dude, speak to me in fucking English. You're supposedly are the country that spawned the language, and I don't understand what you're saying, man.
I was like, man, it's English.
Yeah.
But it's not British English.
Right.
It's not like
And it's not
the
Australia.
royal.
No, it's because
English,
they're literally Dutch,
Yeah.
German Dutch
So his name
descent.
is Johan von something.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so you're Dutch, but your accent isn't Dutch. What's the accent?
Right.
And he's like,
Yeah, and
South
it's interesting because they
African.
have that crazy accent, even though it's like because they're Dutch and German, and then they speak English. They've got a whole unique, it's like you listen to different people, listen to a Chinese person and speak English. They got a certain phraseology that they try to.
Robert's learning Chinese. It's really funny to listen to him
Dude, that's a
with
tough
his
one.
lessons.
That's a tough one.
He's
But that was a
doing
great
so
interview
far.
with an Irish mother and all. Let's see what's he say, Mr. Coffee. You guys are just talking shit over there. Mr. Coffee. He's black, so it's okay. We give him a pass. Anyways, if you guys haven't known by now, if you don't know this by now, whoops, Larry, why did that button go that way? Oh, I gotta fix that stuff. Okay, now I know.
Now you know.
I added a button.
If you don't know, now you know.
I added a button, and I didn't add the button correctly.
I
Anyways,
like
notice this podcast is raw, unfiltered, and politically incorrect. We say Merry Christmas, the Pledge of Allegiance, especially the part about one nation under God. We thank our troops for their service. Thank you, Larry, and those in our audience. We only recognize two genders, a dangle and no dangle, as Grandma would say.
That is wiener and no wiener.
Grandma would say, check your equipment if you're confused. As adults, we enjoy adult beverages. Cheers.
Oh, cheers to
There's
that.
adult
I have water.
iced tea.
Adult iced tea, adult water.
Adult water.
Adult water. Cheers. We cuss.
Okay, that's enough.
All right. We cuss. We do not curse or swear. Look up the fucking definitions, please.
Please.
And furthermore, don't just look up the definitions. Why is that one on that one? Okay. Look up. I don't even want to. I hear so many people.
Yeah.
I heard one of my favorite radio people today.
Yeah, just don't fucking swear on the show.
Fuck you.
Pass it
Completely right.
around.
So,
How dare you.
Notice I said swear. I said swear, and nobody caught it.
Sorry.
yeah.
Children.
What cracks me up is people, I go, they keep saying this phrase and it's driving me nuts. Stop saying, pardon my French or excuse my French.
Has nothing to do with
When you
people
use
French.
the F word, when you say fuck, shit,
Fuck.
damn, hell, ass.
Where does it come from, boss?
Those are Anglo-Saxon words.
Oh.
The French had their own sanitized word. Fornication, defecation, urination.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
Those are the French words. So when you say pardon my French, you are so, not only are you not apologizing correctly, but you're you're completely backwards. And I go, dude, and people like, millions of people are listening to you right now. And I go, okay.
Pardon my
I'm gonna
French.
pardon my French. I go, you know what?
Pardon my French.
You fornicator. Pardon my French.
But I'm a downer.
But if I say fuck, it's pardon my Anglo-Saxon. In fact, when you started, I think we were just wrapping that up. Yeah. We used to have a line in the show notes every week. I can pull them up. And there was a line for every week.
Nobody needs to know the angle of my Saxton.
Exactly. We would have a part. I would have a phrase that I came up with every week of pardon my Anglo-Saxon. And it would be,
That's funny.
So, anyways,
You
we
don't have
cuss.
an angle
We do
to
not
my
curse or
Saxon.
swear. We love Jesus, but we hate religion and religious assholes. And if any of this offends you, cough. I've got to change that because I do have the new sanitized version.
At least you
on there.
didn't say eat a dick.
Sanitized.
You know what?
Why would you have a sanitized version of this?
Well, Santa wanted me to have a sanitized version.
I want
Patrick, what do you want? You want? We're gonna race through these now. You want Battle of Wits, or you want medicine to the dead? Look at it. It's
Wow.
right on the cusp. See that?
You're passing it off.
Dude, look at that. Right
Of
there.
course.
Wow.
All right. Mr. Acton, go.
To argue with someone who has renounced the sense of reason is like administering medicine to the dead. Thomas Paine.
Kind of
that
useless.
is so true.
Yes.
I mean, have you spoken with a liberal?
Oh, yeah.
Man, it's like administering medicine to somebody that's been dead for 100 years.
Yeah.
But at least they vote.
Yeah. But at least
Over and over and
And
over
over
again.
and over and over again.
Yeah, and I mean, people melt down about terms like libtard.
Yeah.
If you say libtard,
They really melt down when you say fucktard.
yes. Well,
That's my
yes.
favorite word.
Yes, I think we have experience with that on
It's one of
this
my
show.
favorite. Yes.
People got censured.
Yeah, let's call Chuck Hughes and ask if he approves.
Thanks for dropping a name.
Name dropper.
So what is the actual meaning of censure?
Censure
It's like
Being
bad.
told you
You're
can't talk
bad.
anymore.
Okay.
We had the censure on me.
a lot of people think censuring someone is a waste of time.
It's not.
It's a public review.
It's
I don't
fucking
think so.
necessary.
Yeah, I mean, when you have rhinos that are in a party that are voting against, I'm not talking about a minor dispute. You're not a rhino if you cast a bad vote, right? That's not what a rhino is. Everybody can cast a bad vote, but when you are selling out core conservative values, you're a frickin' rhino.
You're a freaking rhino.
Yeah, if you're not supporting the Second Amendment, you're a rhino. If you're if you're pro-life, I mean pro-choice, you're a rhino. You know, if you support open borders, you're a rhino.
You know what?
Yeah.
We're gonna do that from now on, Larry. You need to do that in a southern accent.
In a southern
You might
accent.
be a rhino with.
If you like the borders wide open, where little Juan could come across free, willy nilly right across the border, you might be a rhino.
If your mama
Oh
and
my.
your sister is the same person, you
might
might
be
be a
a rhino.
redneck.
Rhino.
A rhino, Larry.
Rhino.
We're not trying to be like Jeff Fox.
Oh.
I am a
Kinda.
rhino. So
If your
We're trying
voting
to be like
record,
Larry.
if your
Be
voting
a
record
rhino.
is like Gretchen Whitmer's, you might be a rhino.
don't
All
get
right,
me
Did you see that
started.
picture of her with
I'm so pissed at
yeah,
Kara right
it
now.
says 86,
Yeah.
45.
That
Oh
kid-
yeah,
yeah, that was
I passed
That
that
was
around
from-
when she did it a couple years ago.
I was gonna say that was like from 3 years ago, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it
2 or
was.
3 years
4
ago.
years ago,
Was it
because
four?
Trump
Oh, yeah.
was still president. Trump
Yep.
was still president. Was during the election cycle
Uh-huh.
for 2016.
Dude, these
Or
guys,
2020.
you guys are nuts in chat right now. I can't read anything.
Don't look at their nuts in chat.
Can I read it?
No, dude, no, I'm saying. Okay, let's get back to this. Dino, I want you to do this one.
Jeffy is a horse's
No, stop.
ass
No, get out,
because
get out.
maybe nay. Fucking.
You ready, Dino?
Norris to yes.
Go.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, except for bears.
Bears.
Bears will kill you.
Bears.
Hey, just kill you.
Kids kill
They'll
you.
just kill you.
Thank you, Adam, for
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah, jumping out of the
stupid
truck and trying to
fucking
grab
retard.
pet a bear. Tisha.
Tisha,
Let's
special one for
see here.
Tisha.
I want.
This
Yeah.
is
You
a
know what?
true,
Mark
true
Twain.
story.
Mark
I
Twain.
fucking jumped out of the
Oh
fucking
yeah,
truck.
this is a good one. Yeah, it's easier to fool the people than to convince them they already have been fooled.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mark. I got to
True.
change it up for Larry because he likes to be spicy.
Yes, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed unless,
There's
of
no
course, the
comma
Democrat
there.
says so. And if the Democrat judges to it, he can take it away from you without having any constitutional rights, due process of law. Oh, wait a minute. What else is in there?
I didn't see any of that.
Oh, that wasn't in there?
It wasn't
Check
in
your
there.
eyes, Larry.
Tim says in chat, if you complain about African immigrants, but only when it's South African white immigrants, you might be a rhino.
You might be
I'm
right.
not complaining about that.
No, he's
This
saying
guy was
that,
here on, like, he's seriously here on
no, he's saying that the people they don't complain about immigrants at all unless it's white South African immigrants
Yes.
being
Stupid.
offered asylum here, which we'll get into that article.
It's has to happen right now.
Yeah. Let's see here. What do I want to do to wrap this up? Okay, let's do this one. Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it to our children in the bloodstream. It must be fought for, protected, and handed on to them to do the same. The Gipper, Ronaldus Magnus. And here we go, everybody. Never apologize and never explain. It's a sign of weakness.
I am so bad at that.
You do well if you're watching to understand that apologies do nothing with these monsters.
Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. What? Yeah. So there we go. We got through the disclaimers just about 45 minutes into the show. So that's progress.
That's good.
That's progress.
I'd say, yeah.
That's
moving along.
Yeah, moving right along. And the chat is crazy.
Well,
you bunch of crazy
We're going to cover a lot around when Larry starts speaking out both ends, which will be soon, anytime now.
Don't encourage him, man.
Just saying.
And Tish is going to do battle with him.
Dude, you know what we've talked about?
Live on the show. We can talk about that in the Livingston Post.
We've talked about putting a high-end ventilation system in here that would because you might have somebody in here that would want to do a cigars or something like that during the show, and so we had a high-end system, but I don't know how much. You know what? You remember, Guy?
Mm-hmm.
We seriously had a discussion.
Oh no.
He was like, dude, somebody should invent underwear that has like a replaceable charcoal filter in it.
Oh my God.
They did. They have.
They have?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Or maybe that's what he was saying is he's found it or something. I don't know. I'm like,
Jesus.
Dude, maybe change your diet so you don't have so much flatulence versus having to get a fucking pair of charcoal underwear.
Me and my wife were watching TV the other day. We're sitting here watching TV the other day, and there's an advertisement for period.
Of course
panties.
you would, Larry.
Of course there is. It's the new thing.
Yes.
Period panties?
Listen,
TV.
they have advertisements on televisions now for women's speculums. And if you don't know what that is, then good for you.
I don't want to know what that
No,
is.
you do not.
Dude,
no.
they got
no,
it is. It's
but
a
there's
medical device.
advertising on television for this shit. And I'm like,
yeah, it's a little crazy.
I don't need this.
They have drugs for they have like men kissing each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
they're getting a lot of backlash for that shit.
Yeah.
Doesn't it make you feel
How
good?
about-
I would block out any channel that showed that so my kids wouldn't see
Is
it.
that the commercial? I saw this, I don't know, it was a skit or whatever. This gal gave one to her husband, and he's trying to figure out what it is.
Yeah, but it's
And
part
then
of
he
it.
stuck it in his mouth. I know what it's for, so that the dentist can see your teeth better.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, that's
Oh,
that's
God.
what
That
it
was like used. I got it from the gynecologist.
Wow.
Ooh,
Yeah, but they're advertising that crap on TV.
I know.
Dude.
Well, they're talking about
Stupid.
doing away with pharma companies being able to advertise
Yes,
Yeah,
on
please.
TV, which would
It would be
be
phenomenal.
awesome.
Yes,
Yeah.
that would
Yeah.
be phenomenal.
It
That
would.
would that would be a good thing.
Would be amazing.
Well,
But I
you
don't
wouldn't
know.
have to listen to 5 seconds of them telling you what the product is, and then the next 55 seconds of them telling you all the side effects and horrible things that'll
Right.
happen if you
Yes.
take it.
Disclaimers,
Hama BB will cause blindness, your hand to fall off, your penis to shrivel, your breast to shrink,
Enlarge.
and your belly button to shrivel.
Those are all the side
To
effects.
explode outwards. Yeah.
Do you crave longer eyelashes? Take this
That's
drug.
the new
Side
one.
effects: it can change the
Stupid.
color of your eyes, cause permanent blindness,
Right.
cause your asshole to fall out.
Right.
Sounds
But
like
you
I want
know-
longer lashes.
Oh, I totally want to take that.
Consult your physician. Who's getting paid by us to push this shit?
Right.
right.
There's a comedian that did a skit about various drugs
Mhm.
and the side effects of them, and then they get a prescription for another drug to take care of the side
Mhm.
effect,
Uh-huh.
and went right around into a circle, came back right to the
Yeah.
original drug again.
Well, We could tell stories. My grandfather was so many drugs. Like he took this one set of drugs and then immediately had throwing up and had all these things. And my mom was there and she goes, Dad, everything that you're experiencing right now is the fucking side effects for the drug that you just took 20 minutes ago.
Yep.
And they grabbed the bottle and whatever, got rid of it. Yeah. Crazy shit. The quote for tonight, I was trying to pull it up, but of course this was AI generated. I don't even know what AI was because I didn't find a quote that I really wanted. But the quote for tonight, who's really in charge? The quote, who is really in charge, suggests that the true power holders may not always be visible or accountable.
You think?
It can apply to various contexts, from media networks and to government leadership. Open.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about who's really in charge tonight. There's a lot of things going on. We got a little bit of RFK news.
Well, I think today we know who's in charge. We didn't know
we didn't know
who's in
who's
charge.
Yeah,
Well,
there's no auto pen in the White House.
Correct.
now.
No.
Correct.
Nope.
Well, even they're trying to stir up the Elon Trump. What do you call that? Man, the buddy
Bromance.
That's the word I was looking for. I didn't want to say
Bromance.
man love because that's a totally different category.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
that's on the other side of the aisle.
Yeah.
That
The
went
bromance
pretty
that's
far
going
in the
on,
left
and they
field.
tried to do it at the beginning, saying that, well, who's really in charge? Is it Elon or Trump? And now they're like, oh, Trump's really in charge, and he's kicking Elon to the curb. And Elon's like, did this press conference, and he's like, first of all, fuck Bill Gates. And then he said, look, I told you I was only going to be here for a little while, and then I'm going back to doing my thing.
He did
So,
say that.
I'm going back to doing
It's
my thing.
temporary.
And he wasn't in charge of shit.
No.
Exactly.
There was a Secretary of State for that.
Correct. And they also, with the big misunderstanding about Doge, they knew they were the ones who
Fucked
did
it
the
up in
research,
first place.
brought the research to Trump and said, here you go.
He's leaky.
Here's what we found. And he goes, okay, let's cut the funding on that.
Yeah.
Let's cut the funding on
Right.
that.
It's just like when I come up with an idea for the podcast and I go, hey, Jeremy, we should do this. He says, shut the fuck up. We're not doing that.
That's pretty much,
That is the.
I mean, that's pretty much exactly what happens. I go, Larry, that's dumb. That's why Larry has his own segment coming up a little bit later in the show, just to appease him from injecting many other ideas into the show.
Oh, I've got some great ideas today.
Okay.
Great explosive ones.
I'm sure they are.
No.
I'm sure they are.
Tell by looking at you.
Just love it. Can't
So-
wait.
We're going to talk about who's in charge. First of all, I think I covered a little bit. The South African refugees is still hot in the news. We had a great interview, like I said, on this past Sunday. Go check that out. They were talking to, let's see where it was. I had a couple stories that I was going to pull up on that, but let me see here. Oh, yeah, I heard about that. Did you guys hear about that? The creator of Dilbert, Scott Adams, heartbreaking announcement that he has the same type of terminal cancer as the former vice president, Joe Biden. And he knows that he's a very awake gentleman, but he did take the jab and he knows that that's the cause.
What is this thing about them
Turbo
finding like giant white clots in people when they go to embalm them?
Oh, yeah.
Now?
Yep.
No, and interestingly enough, the Trump administration said today that they will no longer be pushing COVID vaccines on young kids.
I think that's in our notes here, Larry.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah. RFK announces Biden budget cuts.
Ooh.
That's one of the
Oh, there it is. Can I announce this?
that's one of the secrets to how they're doing. People are wondering because executive orders, you're supposed to run things through Congress, but one of the things that the Trump administration is doing and doing very well is if they can't get rid of something right away, then what they're doing is they're doing a budget cut on it.
What the president can
Defunding
do
it.
through executive orders is he can manage the money that he's been given.
Mhm.
So like he can reallocate funds like he did with the wall money
Right.
last time. So you can, what he can't do is like fund something himself. He can move funds around that he's got here and say, oh, the Democrats put $200 trillion into this green thing. We think it's a waste of money, so we'll put it.
It's a waste of money.
Well,
He can move stuff around.
Yeah.
but those powers are limited. I don't like the way that executive orders are used today because they weren't meant
To be used that way.
to be used that way. It's
Right.
just
Well, and
gravitated to what it is, and both sides do it. I'm not, the Democrats are far worse than what the Republicans are.
For sure.
But Donald Trump is he's utilizing them to fix problems that were created by both Democrats and Republicans in the past. That's one thing I like about Donald Trump is he's not doing anything that we didn't know he was going to do.
Correct.
Everything he's doing, he campaigned on and said, hey, vote for me and I'm doing this. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way down to Z. Now he's doing it.
And that's the dynamic that we missed in the first.
At the speed of light, he's doing it.
Well, Democrats and rhinos are all over the internet. Oh, we didn't vote for this. Actually, we did vote for this. We voted for exactly this. And if you look at his poll numbers today, a new poll came out, he's back up at 55% approval.
Right.
So this is the president. He's the people's president. And, the Democrats don't like that because he has outsmarted them. He has outworked them. He has outwitted them. And he plays them like a fiddle. He feeds them. He's very good at feeding them spoonfuls of crap, and they lap it up like it's candy.
Yeah.
It's disgusting, Larry.
That's true.
A lot of flatulence and shit talking today.
Flashing and shit talking.
No, exactly right, Larry. But the thing I think of is, oops, I hit the wall feed. I didn't mean to hit that. I meant to hit the wall thing.
That's fun.
Yeah. Well, I programmed this button to be able to switch at the same time.
Oh.
Yeah.
And now I sabotage myself. Anyways,
Sabotage.
a sabotage. I can go back to this one.
Sabotage, eh? Yeah.
Anyway, so but that's one of the things that Trump was very reluctant to do in the first term.
Yes.
Was do executive orders, and then he saw all the abuse, and now we know it's auto pen. That's one of the stories that's on InfoWars talking about the auto pen. Did you know that Trump came out and praised Biden? I'll hit this one. Look at this one. I guess we don't need Alex in there. Even though it's where'd my cursor go? Come on, work with me here. Joe Biden was not for open borders. It was the people that took over with the auto pen. Trump drops that bombshell statement calling out the traitors at the highest level. So Trump praised Joe Biden. He says, I think this is a Truth Social tweet or Truth Social post. Joe Biden was not for open borders. He never talked about open borders where criminals of all kinds, shapes, and sizes can flow into our country at will. It wasn't his idea to open the borders and almost destroy our country and cost us hundreds of billions of dollars to get criminals out of our country and go through the process we are now going through. It was the people who knew he was cognitively impaired that took over the auto pen. They stole the presidency from the United States and put us in great danger. This is treason, all caps, at the highest level. They did it to destroy our country. The Joe Biden that everybody knew would never allow drug dealers, gang members, and mentally insane to come into our country totally unchecked and unvetted.
Not in our country, just in our White House. Drug dealers and... Listen, what we got to do is... When I win, you got to search the border. Not joking, man.
With 54 states.
All of them.
54
all
states.
Of them.
Just all 54.
All
54 states. You know.
Which was
what a
a jump
retard.
up. So
What a
apparently
fucking
we
retard.
gained 2 since the Obama administration.
Yeah.
When we had 52 and now we have 54.
Correct.
I like how he signed off, though.
Yeah.
Something very... you clicked off of it.
Oh, sorry.
Not sure why.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay.
What's he say?
He says, something very severe has happened. Treasonous thugs that wanted to destroy our country but couldn't because I came along. Make America great again.
That's true.
He did talk about that
What a
today.
fag.
Trump talked about that today.
I think there's going to be a lot of stuff coming out over the next few months.
Mhm.
That it's going to wake a lot of people up. I had somebody that I haven't seen in a couple years. I bumped into today, right? And he looked at me and he said, "Larry," he's a black man. He said, "Larry, I'm not a Democrat and I'm not a Republican." He said, "And I voted for Trump." He said, "But these Democrats, the way they threw that woman in there,
Yep.
yeah, we held the primary and she lost.
Yep.
They didn't want her.
Right.
She didn't get 1%. Right. And then Biden steps down and they throw her up there.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The hell with them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't deserve my vote.
Yep.
Why did they throw her up
Exactly,
there? That's
yeah.
a big question because they had to known that she would not win.
Yeah. Well, I'm not quite sure that.
They were going to try to rig it.
You would think. I mean, I would hope they would know that she can't win.
Too big.
But I don't think that they're grounded in reality.
This is
I do not believe that Democrats are grounded. These are the people that want to put boys in girls' bathrooms, locker rooms, and showers, and boys in girls' sports.
Yep.
They're not grounded in reality.
Right.
They're absent of all logic, reason, and accountability.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure that they don't know that anymore. I think they think that all these whacked out far left extremist things that the Democrat Party now supports.
Mm-hmm.
I think they think that the American people are with them on it,
Mm-hmm.
even though 70 to 80% of the American people are not with them on it, that oppose these nutty things. Tim Walz was on the record today saying it would be a mistake for Democrats not to fight for transgender rights. Well, I praise.
loser Tim Walz?
Yeah, I praise Tim Walz for doing that.
Tampon Tim.
Tampon
Yeah.
Tim. Yeah.
I think Tampon Tim should
Mhm.
continue dragging the party to the left because
Absolutely.
the further left they go, the more we win.
Yep.
So, I mean, these are crazy things. These aren't sane things.
Right.
These are crazy things. Who wants their teenage daughter to share a shower with a teenage boy at their local junior high school?
Right.
Unwillingly.
Not anybody.
Not only do we
Right.
not want it to happen willingly, we don't want it to happen unwillingly.
Yes. I mean, we all seen Porky's, right?
Yeah.
Everybody here seen Porky's, but
Unfortunately, yes.
that's comedy.
Yeah.
That's not supposed to be reality.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. Mr. Coffee says that if Biden had his doctor, he would have caught Biden's shit long before it went to his brain.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm just saying, Coffee's on the mend.
I think Biden's prostate cancer started in his head.
Oh, they had to take top
It's
of
all
my
in your
head
head.
off.
Well, it's because of the location of his brain.
Honestly, guys,
Right.
That would be anal cancer.
guys. Now listen, I had a little conversation and asked Biden, how he felt he was doing. He said,
Not me. I'm in my prime.
so he's in his prime. It feels like he's doing good.
Yeah.
And that's what Jake Tapper thought all along until now.
Yes. Well, I'm sure Joe Biden has already forgot that he has cancer.
Likely.
Mm-hmm. All right. Second Amendment restored, Larry. Second Amendment restored, Larry. Let's see what that looks like. Joe Biden was treasonous. What happened with the Second Amendment today, Larry? That was your cue.
Ooh, what happened with the Second Amendment today?
No, what happened in the Supreme Court today?
Oh, the Supreme Court. What?
They
There you go.
backed Trump deporting a bunch of idiots.
Yes. Well, the Supreme Court ruled 8-1 in
Yes.
Trump's favor for deporting Venezuelans, terrorist groups.
Bye-bye.
Oh, 10.
What do you want to call them? A terrorist group? Do you want to call them gang members? Whatever you want to call them. They can now be deported with a vengeance, with the blessing of the Supreme Court. And bonus,
Got to go.
a Supreme Court ruled today that the Maine legislature
Mm-hmm.
must restore the voting rights to a Maine legislator, yes, that lost her voting rights for a post she made on Facebook. They censured her and took away her voting rights on the floor for going after transgenders.
Nice.
And the Supreme Court stepped in and ordered the legislature to immediately restore her.
The power of censure is
and-
really weird.
Yes, and I did send both those. I sent you some stories.
You sent me some articles?
Testicles. I mean articles.
I was going to finish swallowing my nice Corona before I told you. Not cool.
So what's Motor City Madman have to say?
The Motor City Madman on the Second Amendment, he was on the Alex Jones show yesterday, breaking 2A bombshell, not the local 2A, not those guys, but those who support the Second Amendment, like Larry here,
Yes.
who lost all of his guns in a tragic boating accident. Trump set to restore the Second Amendment by essentially repealing the 1968 Gun Control Act, using the power of mass pardons for U.S. citizens convicted of nonviolent felonies. So the interview is real good there.
Yes.
You can check that out. Did you watch the interview, Larry?
I did not. I really like Ted Nugent.
It was good.
Yes.
So the gist of this is that what the gist of the what Trump's doing is he's going to issue mass pardons for nonviolent felons, because what people don't realize is anybody convicted of a felon, according to the 1968 Gun Control Act, that's why people convicted of felons, violent or otherwise, lose all rights to own firearms. And if you've been convicted of a non-violent felony, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They'll just take your firearms because of this act.
Mhm.
It is unconstitutional.
It is.
And I've said it on this show multiple times, and I'll continue to say it, that I believe you should have full gun rights no matter what. If you serve your time and you walk out, whether you're a violent criminal or not. And you know what? In that interview with Ted Nugent, he said before they passed that law back in the 60s,
Mhm.
you didn't have mass shootings at schools. You didn't have just people showing up and do this. And he said criminals got out of jail and got their weapons back. They either behaved or they ended up back in jail or dead.
Right.
Yeah.
An armed society is a polite society. I don't have a problem. I'm a strict 100% constitutionalist when it comes to Second Amendment. Each and every person should have the right to keep and bear arms, period.
Shall
exception.
not be infringed.
Shall not be infringed.
With all
Except for when Democrats say so.
with all these restrictions,
In
though,
big cities.
I saw an interview with this gal who said, they were at a public gathering. She couldn't have her firearm with her.
Mhm.
And a guy came in and started shooting the place up and shooting people all over the place.
Yeah.
Her father flipped the table up, and she and her father and mother were hiding behind that table. And she said, I went for my purse. I had a perfect shot. I was going to end this thing, but realized that my firearm was in my car. Did not have it with me. And as a result, her father was shot and killed. And I don't know, it was like 23 people lost their lives that day. Oh, and even the police officers. The police officers were in the same facility. It was at a hotel, and the manager of the hotel, there was a police convention there, told them that they were welcome, but their firearms weren't. They had to leave their firearms in their car.
Ridiculous.
Now I don't understand that, because I've had friends that are law enforcement officers, and they always carried.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what.
No matter what,
Yeah.
they had firearms.
Unless they were drinking. I can say that part.
Yes. True. Unless they're
but-
drinking. Yes.
I mean,
Yep. Sorry, I'm
trying to
checking
figure
the
out
camera.
why it's blue
I know
on the
it looks
bottom.
blue on the bottom.
Yeah, it is.
That's funny.
It makes the beer look blue when you look in it.
It does.
Yeah,
Well, it's a great beer.
Can you see my laptop? Are you able to see it?
I can. You want me to go to your laptop, Larry?
Sure.
Let's go to Larry laptop.
Let's see what my laptop has.
Larry laptop.
Oh, I heard
Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn
I
Benson
heard-
violated campaign finance law, but she won't be
Violated.
punished.
there was a little bit of the sisters not getting along. Like there might be the relationship breakup there.
Well, SPLC Benson is pretty far to the left, but I don't think she's as far to the left as that fruitcake.
Oh, she is.
You think so?
I've heard her in person. She's
I mean,
she's every bit as wacky as the rest of them.
Yeah, she's a kook. That's for sure.
And a drunk.
Says here,
Just saying.
Michigan Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson violated a campaign finance law her department oversees by housing a campaign press conference in a government building. According to Attorney
How
General
stupid do you
Dana
have to
Nasty.
be? How stupid do you have to be
Mm-hmm.
to hold a campaign rally in a government building?
Apparently as stupid as a liberal Democrat.
Well,
Listen,
you got to understand something.
I've railed against people.
The law only applies to Republicans.
That's true. Yep.
And even laws they haven't made up yet.
Yes.
There are so many laws about so like minute little details,
Mm-hmm.
but you can't mistake that one. Like you're not even allowed to have a sign in a government building. What the fuck makes you think that you can announce a campaign from one?
Right.
Like,
Well, and part of the problem I think wasn't she hadn't filed yet when she made the announcement, or she did.
either
file?
way,
Well,
you
that
can't
that
do
would
it.
be a separate
Okay.
crime.
Right.
That would be a second crime. Once you announce, you have so many hours to file the
It's
paperwork.
days,
Okay.
but
You
yeah,
can announce beforehand,
yeah.
but I think it's 48 hours.
Okay.
Once you make your announcement,
You
I
have
believe it's 48 hours.
to form a committee
Yes.
and have a
Listen,
treasurer and that sort of
But
thing.
if you're a Democrat,
But you can take forever.
if you're a Democrat, those laws don't apply.
listen. I learned a long time
Listen.
ago from Queen Amidala that she did not have time for you to debate this in a committee.
Oh,
Committee or not.
No Star Wars fans here.
Not allowed.
I do not have time to. But my people die, Senator.
Listen, nobody ever, hardly anyone, I can't say nobody ever, hardly anyone ever gets like fined or jailed for campaign finance violations. It just doesn't happen.
Right?
But
Unless they're a Republican.
when you're, I mean, come on.
When
That's
you're-
a high-ranking state official. How do you not know?
Oh, don't we know somebody that went to jail for campaign finance?
Do we?
I mean, well, that was a whole different scale, but
Well,
yeah,
it was in New York, I think.
yeah. Are you not
Who's I can't think of his
a
name.
famous movie
A
documentary
famous movie
maker?
documentary maker went to jail after he exposed.
Oh, Dinesh D'Souza. Okay.
Yes.
I was showing you guys
Yes.
the backside of my paper that has nothing on it because I was drawing a blank.
Yeah, you were. Yeah, Dinesh D'Souza.
Dinesh
Now,
D'Souza.
That's
Dinesh,
on a
all Dinesh
separate
did
level.
was tell Hillary's true story, and that's
Right,
what you know.
you can't
Well,
do
not
that.
only
You
that,
can't do
but
that.
he
he's been a credible guy.
exposed
very good.
Obama's brother.
Yeah,
The fact that Obama has all this money and his
Right.
brother lives on
lives in
$3 a
Say that
year.
again.
Obama.
He has all this money.
Yes, he has
Right.
all
Well,
this
what about
money.
that pushes him?
What
Yes.
about Bill Clinton's illegitimate boy?
What does
And
that have to
Michelle's
do with
dangle.
campaign finance? Michelle's dangle.
Oh,
She stepped in some shit about that
Dude,
the other day.
We're in the locker
She's
room,
been
and
bathing in shit her
Do you know-
whole life.
you know, so my buddy Matt, we're in the locker room. You know, Big Matt. We're in the locker room, and he's like, "Dude." He's already telling me about it. In fact, he handed me. It's up at the house. He gave me a pocket knife, and engraved my initials in one spot, my name in the other spot, and my initials in another spot. He's like, "I got this new engraver, man. I'm just going nuts on it. It's like a laser engraver, so it'll burn stuff." And he's like, "It'll do this, it'll do that." He's like, he's telling us all the stuff he's trying to do with it, and he's like, "I tried to do the Predator doing like, you know, fingers up or
Right.
something like that." And he's like, he's trying to do it. And he said, it wouldn't come out right. And I was like, dude, you need to superimpose Michelle Obama over the Predator's face and it'll work perfect. And he's like, oh yeah. And I said, but keep the whole, and he's like, but we'll keep the whole body the same. I said, but make sure you got the slong coming down the leg.
Right. Gotta have that thick little.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, Michelle Obama's As a Black Man podcast.
As a black man. Well, I listened to that myself and I
Well,
do
Joan
think that was
Rivers
taking a little,
had to fucking sacrifice
Yeah.
herself over trying to,
her, yes,
you know.
right. Yeah,
Yes,
it's raining
it's-
pretty good. I heard that too. I think she was referring to her guest as a black man. But I mean, nobody can do the. I've never called Tanya Tommy. Okay.
Right.
So for Barack for Barry to call Michelle Michael a couple different times on camera.
Right.
Yeah, you know. A show of hands who've ever referred to their significant other by a opposite gender name. And no hands go up. Wow.
No
Amazing
hands
here.
went up.
Wow.
I mean,
We knew the gender that we were screwing.
Maybe the most important man in the world for 8 years just didn't know how to articulate who he was sleeping with at that moment.
maybe.
Don't give him a
She wasn't out yet.
You gave him a pillow on that one.
I did.
She hadn't come out of the closet yet.
What did you send me, Larry? You sent me a post on the tracks.
Serious.
I can't even look at your stuff. Apparently, I got to click on this. Our good buddy George. Ooh, is this Heartland? What is this one? What is this?
Sorry.
This is my buddy at work.
Oh, that's funny.
Tensions flare at school board meeting after trans athlete wins multiple track
Oh,
events.
yeah.
And I sent you
I
a
heard about
story, a
this.
follow-up story on
Oh.
women that stood at the first place after being beat by
7th grader.
by transgenders. The
Yeah.
girl was
Yeah,
beat by four
seventh grader.
times. She lost to transgender. Got tired of it. Went up on the first place because she'd have won first place, not for this cheater.
Right.
And she stood
Right.
on the first place podium and took her own picture.
Yeah.
And-
Nice.
Yeah, she should.
So that's it. You should see that one in.
I got it right here. Is this one?
Yeah.
All right, let's take a look at this one. This is also from Snooze, California
It's just
track.
kind of sad and
Oh,
just
there it
like
is.
watching, like he's obviously a really talented athlete. Like we can all see him jump and stuff, and I wish him the best in luck and everything that he does. But in a boys'
But compete against men,
it's
you.
pretty obvious the certain advantages that he has, and it's just sad as a woman to watch that and have kind of. I feel bad for the person in second place because they probably worked really hard to get where they are, and it's just something that they can't probably ever reach a point like that because it's really hard to get to that type of point. And so it's just like sad and it's unfair. And I just feel bad for all the girls in the rest of the event and the girls that couldn't qualify.
For me, like I tied with another girl for first for high jump because at a preliminary for high jump, it only stops. Like it's based off the temps. So when it gets like to another round, the next round, we'll be able to jump however far we can. But that's where it kind of gets like crazy because I've seen videos of him on his Instagram jumping 5'6". Well, if it comes down to that, he could beat me. But for this one, he didn't. But coming forward, he could very much easily beat me.
And they're saying
Everybody
he.
knows that she's saying he.
He could. Yeah.
Because it is a he.
But he's
Right.
put
It is a he.
into their category
Right.
of sports.
I've never been encountered personally with one of those situations, but you just wonder where, you've got dads that will, of course, we're hockey people around, but you got, and I've never had an incident here, but I've seen it throughout somewhere in the country where a hockey dad, goes after the coach or goes after, the ref or something like that. We've seen soccer dads that have, come out onto the field and going to go after a ref or
Football
somebody
dads
else.
are the
Yeah,
worst.
exactly. And I go, where's one of these dads? Not that I want it, but listen, you're going to compete against my daughter.
Right.
I'm waiting for one of these dads, but then he would probably be charged with what is that called?
Assault battery.
Felonious assault. No.
I was thinking of the lesser. I was thinking more of the media charge of beating a tranny up. What do they call that?
Oh.
Gay bashing.
Gay bashing.
Right? I don't know. This is so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It's like how. First of all, let's break this down. How psychologically, emotionally, and mentally fucked up do you have to be to think that competing against women is anything but dishonorable? You think that somehow competing against a woman has any merit. And I watched fucking Leah Thomas, whatever his real, William Thomas, stand up there on the podium with his trophy and just that smile on his face. I'm like, dude, you're fucking demented. He did. He was still things like,
yeah, right over there.
I won. How fucking sad are you in your own soul? And who didn't either hug you enough or slap you enough to get your shit straight that you stand on that podium after beating girls?
Nobody.
And think
think it's okay.
Not only is it okay, you're celebrating yourself. You narcissistic
like
piece of
you won
shit.
a fucking trophy.
Right. You narcissistic, but
over women.
Asshole.
So here's the other another point on this. Okay, when I wrestled, the one glorious year that I wrestled in freshman year, all right, I wrestled at 105 pounds.
Okay.
The second lowest, or the lower class than us was 98.
Yeah.
I wrestled at 105. It was my first year wrestling. I wrestled varsity for a third of the year. Okay. I won 2 medals at tournaments. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The reason that wrestling has weight classifications, the reason that boxing has weight classifications, the reason that MMA has weight classifications, the reason that all of those types of sports that are individual have weight classifications is because they know that a 105-pound guy is not going to go up against a 210-pound guy who's in the heavyweight class and survive.
Right.
Well, I think those 300-pound guys should wrestle all the women.
Imagine that.
But what I'm saying is the reason we have women's divisions and men's divisions, and even in those divisions, you will have, depending on the sport, you'll have other divisions, okay? Mm-hmm. I'm around a whole hockey community. A bunch of my buddies are hockey dads. Their kids play hockey.
By the way.
They are.
Good boys.
And their kids, they skate according to their age and skill level. And so they'll come in and go, my kid's skating for this one. And my kid's in this program because his level's, here. And my kid's over here and his level's over here. And so they gauge them based on skill, age, size, and they're doing that, right? Mm-hmm. What the fuck are these dudes being allowed in the school to compete against women? And I the reason I asked the question about the dads going in there and wanting to punch somebody out is because do you know what some of these little girls
will think about themselves when they lose to this bastard?
There's that.
Ooh.
But also
sorry.
Also, there's a really good series if you guys ever want to listen to it, and I've promoted on the show before. The Ultimate History Lesson with John Taylor Gatto. It's phenomenal about school. He won the School Teacher of the Year Award 89, 90, and 91, and then resigned because they figured out he wasn't teaching the school's curriculum. He was teaching the kids to read, write, and learn without teaching them the shit that they wanted to push. Mm-hmm. And one of the stories he tells in there, he says, I had this little girl, she'd come into my class every single day. She's sleeping at her desk every day.
Why is she sleeping at her desk?
And he says, what's going on? He says, you come into my class, you're sleeping every day. And she goes, well, I'm a swimmer. She says, I get up at I get up 4 a.m. and I go to the pool and I swim. And he goes, okay, this is your assignment for this semester. He goes, I'm going to get your mom's permission so you can do this. And he said, I want you to go through the whole greater area, the New York area, and I want you to catalog all the pools. All the municipal pools, all the school pools, the chlorine content, the size of the pool, the locker rooms, the amenities, everything, what times they're open, everything like that. He said, I want you to catalog all of it and compile it and put it into a nice, not an essay,
presentation.
A presentation for me and present it at the end of the semester. You do that, you'll pass my class.
Right.
She goes and does it. She does such a kick-ass job that the State Library Association approaches her and says, can we have your research and put it on file? And she comes back to him and she goes, Mr. Gatto, I did the research and they're asking me for it. And he says, and she goes, what should I do? And he goes, you should get paid. And she goes, really? He goes, did you do the work? She goes, yeah. He goes, then they need to pay you. They need to compensate you for all the work that you did. So not only did she learn to read, write, do math, do all of her stuff, put a spreadsheet together, put all of her information together, do a presentation with it, do all that. It was such top notch that the library wanted a copy of it. And it solved the problem of her sleeping in class because now she was motivated to go out and do something that was up her alley. And the reading and the math and all the other skills that we need in life
came with it.
Developed when she did that. And I think every time I think of shit like this, where these little girls are being defrauded because of these fucked up boys, you know, they're probably got a bunch of atrazine and they think they're gay frogs, but they're going in and they're trying to compete against these little girls. That little girl may have been getting up at 4 a.m. for the last 5-6 years, and you got some asshole kid, boy,
who's
not being told no.
I mean, she's probably what, 5'7", 5'8", maybe. The chick in the video, and you got some guy who's however tall, and then she's worried about him beating a 5'6",
right,
on a high jump,
right.
I mean, that's her like top.
We've moved so far from Rudy to now it's Rhonda. You know what I'm saying? Rudy stayed on the team, fought for the team, did the team,
fought,
had no
didn't
hope
get
of getting
chosen,
on there.
Didn't get stuck in any entitlement. Kept on going.
And then gets that one little opportunity, goes out there, makes one play.
Makes a play,
wins
the game.
Right.
That's all that you need.
That's all you need. But nowadays, instead of having a Rudy, you lost your mic. I got it, Christina. I muted you.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Instead of having a Rudy,
I love that movie.
Rudy decides to be Rhonda.
Right.
And play on the girls' Powerpuff team.
Right.
And go and run a girl over and give her a concussion. There's a girl, she got, wasn't it one of the volleyball girls? She got spiked so hard she's paralyzed.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
What the fuck?
That kid needs to go to fucking jail.
Sure.
It gets me worked up. Sorry.
I mean, and that's not even talking about like the body dysmorphia issues they could end up with.
Oh, 100%.
Like, how are they going to eat enough? How are they going to build enough muscle? And how are they going to equal what that guy is doing?
They're not. They're not supposed to.
For
yeah,
them.
that's the thing that makes me so
and then
mad. You know, these girls like Riley Gaines. Riley Gaines is a perfect example.
Yeah.
She worked her whole life towards one goal. And she got there.
And some dickhead
stole it from her.
Correct.
And he couldn't even beat her.
Correct.
He tied her.
Right.
He couldn't even beat her.
Right.
The 6'4" dude.
Right.
Right. Couldn't even beat Riley Gaines. So what does the NCAA do?
Oh.
They give the trophy to the dude.
To the dude.
To the dude.
Yeah, it's like, get the fuck out of here. Whoops.
Fucking dude. So it's good. It's good to see the girls are fighting back, and the one girl goes and stands up on the podium, takes her own picture because she rightfully won.
I'm just kind of thinking outside the box, blaming the parents and blaming the female athletes, because if they all decided that, you know what, we ain't participating and it's just men in there. Have fun. We're just going to do our own thing.
Exactly. The women have the ability to say, you know what? We're all walking.
Yep.
Right? Let us know when you want women back in sports and we'll come back.
Yep.
Until then, see ya.
The thing is that this has already been
women's
decided
sports.
in laws.
Shut it down and make them reevaluate. Make all those money grubbers that are in it for the money realize, oh shit, our money just got taken away.
Yeah, right.
You know, we don't have any money anymore.
Right.
So
I better kick these men out of women's sports then.
I agree with you guys, and I think Tisha has a point on this too. I agree with you guys that that's the ultimate thing, but I think it goes back to the quote that I've said on the show at the beginning. It's the Mark Twain quote that in the beginning, the patriot is a brave man and scorned and hated. And only when his cause succeeds do the timid join him. There's far too many people that are timid, not as something you would cast aspersions on them, but they're timid because they don't want to make waves. And so I agree with you. That would be my ultimate solution too, is for all the parents, all the kids to just boycott it and walk out. But you got this little girl that has dedicated her life, that has
Right.
disciplined herself beyond anything that a parent could put on her, who's getting up at
And
crazy
the only way
hours and
forward
practicing.
for her,
And she's like, I want to walk out, but walking out means I walk out on all of that stuff that I
that hard
dedicated.
work.
And that's hard to do. It's not
Let's
just
talk about this. And she doesn't even feel very sure about herself when she's
To
out there
begin
trying
with.
to make that claim.
Yeah.
You know, and then you got a guy coming in there just saying, yeah, I could fucking totally murder you.
Right. And it's
wow.
My point, though, is this has already been fought out in courts once before.
Right. Title IX.
Women, exactly. Women fought good
What's
and
Title
goddamn
IX again?
hard to get money for sports and have equal sports to the guys on their school campuses. And now we're just going to throw that out the window because gay pride.
Yay.
So Title IX was
rainbow flags.
Title IX was the provision that that really provided for women's sports and really bolstered them. Okay. And I got I think at least 2 cousins. I've got 3 cousins that are girls, but I think at least 2 of them got scholarships for volleyball.
Right.
To go to
you
go
got
to college.
Softball,
They went to college on volleyball scholarship. Our girls
badminton. There's all kinds of
we
stuff.
we drove by it when we had the last Tuesday when we were in the recital, we drove by it at the Heartland High School, and they had I think 8 banners up on the fence, of our girls. And the Heartland girls lacrosse. And the Heartland girls lacrosse were kicking ass.
Lacrosse.
Yeah. And you know what?
That's a dangerous sport.
That's a very dangerous sport.
You want to talk about men's football, okay, fine. But let's talk about women's lacrosse.
It's hardcore, dude.
When it comes to female athletes.
You can spear each other, you can whack at each other. Dude, it's hockey without skates and basically. A lot less protection. Yeah. And so I commend them but I agree with all the points. It's Title IX fought for it. There's a lot of you just if you worked really hard at something and then some douchebag shows up, do you quit at that moment or walk out at that moment, or do you persevere hoping somebody else steps up and changes it? But I agree with you, the parents. But it's also the dynamic of the parents and the kids that could walk out and boycott that thing. They're standing there going, I didn't create this fucking problem. Why am I the one that has to move? Right. So that's the whole process here of looking at it going, you know what? It comes down to that fucking kid needs to be goose stepped out of the fucking arena at that moment going, how dare you walk in here and think you're going to compete against these little girls? Ridiculous. You know what? If I'd ever met Leah Thompson, I would have verbally lit that motherfucker up to the point that I probably would have been attacked or arrested. I wouldn't have physically went after him. I'd have lit him up and just psychologically destroyed that guy.
Oh, for sure.
Because I'm like, how fucking dare you compete against a girl? You know, I was brought up, pussy, that you don't hit a girl.
I'm sorry.
Right.
I should put that fun.
But you don't hit a girl. You don't. It's like.
But what if it's a girl and they don't identify as a girl? You hit them then.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. They're confused.
Did your pack
You don't
Larry?
ever hit a woman.
No, I turned mine off.
I know, but Larry's is off.
Been there. I've done it. I've been through progressions.
Hello?
But you know what it comes down to is
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that might be
the
better.
Lord
might be better.
comes to you and says, you are the greater of the weaker.
Right. Let's do this. We talked about Biden's cancer diagnosis, right?
Yes, and none of us,
and how they hit it.
and everybody should understand
I gotta
this.
go tend the fire.
None of us
All right.
here are a Biden fan. None of us want anything bad to happen to him. He's, I feel bad that he's suffering from cancer, and he'll be in my prayers because of that. But that will never change the fact that he's the worst president in the history of this country,
A criminal.
and that he's a criminal. He belongs in jail.
Correct.
Right? He weaponized the government to go after Trump, Whether or not he did so consciously doesn't
Not
matter.
just
Doesn't
Trump,
matter.
Roger
Doesn't matter.
Stone.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah.
Roger Stone, Trump, you know,
General Flynn,
the
Alex
Jan
Jones,
Sixers,
Jan Sixers all the way
yeah,
across the
all
board.
those people. Now, I don't want anybody to get confused with what I'm saying. All right, I do not support the Jan Sixers that did bad things, but not everybody that all these.
Yeah, but how about a little bit of
overcharged.
parity? What about all the
Right.
people
There is a difference.
that
Yeah,
just-
there is a
that
difference.
destroyed Kenosha?
Right.
And
Correct.
and, the list goes
Right.
on. What about those people? Let's have
That
parity.
stuff was worse.
Yes, it was.
100%.
What the Democrats have done is worse.
Way worse.
Yeah.
And by the way, now that we're talking about it, that state legislator from New Jersey was arrested. Yes, the ones that were protesting the ICE facility.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they got.
they're saying that actual indictments are about to come forth for AOC and a few other people because they were advising people to how to violate ICE restrictions.
Anybody that does those things, that's aiding and abetting.
Yeah.
And they need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
100%.
This type of thing should not be tolerated by the government.
Right.
You know, AOC is another one that belongs in prison.
You just don't like her because she looks like a donkey.
I actually think that AOC
She
is not
sounds
a
like a
bad,
donkey.
bad-looking woman. She's just
A
brain dead.
bartender
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
accidentally got elected.
She's just brain dead.
She auditioned for that position.
Campaigned
Auditioned is right.
from the bar she worked in.
Yeah.
She needs to go back to taco sales. What's her real name?
Is she selling her taco?
I don't remember. Wow, Larry.
Larry.
Wow.
Help. I was gonna find the article here.
She is
An
not the
accident.
first. I will say that she is not the first woman to smack me on the show.
You do it on purpose.
Listen, I missed.
Any comments on the Golden Dome, Trump's Golden Dome? What do you any conversation on that?
No.
Okay. It was a big announcement, the Golden Dome. Even said that Canada, the not the 51st state, wants to be part of it and will pay for it to be part of that, to have the dome. And the whole idea is we're gonna have a Golden Dome.
To do that without England?
I don't know.
Just asking.
But they're talking about this protection and the whole idea is it's a deterrent thing. It's another deterrent thing where you put it in place and you go, I wouldn't do that. Okay, so we won't even discuss the Golden Dome. What I want to discuss next was
Brain freeze.
do you guys think that the auto pen is going to go by the wayside since Biden's dealing with the cancer stuff now? Or it's come out that's huge?
I think it should be parked. Yes.
The auto pen?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Should be set aside?
Yes.
Since he's got the cancer diagnosis?
Well, no, since it was used to sign official documents with, so how do we know what was auto pen and what was actually his signature?
Right.
Well, there's reports they only have two legitimate signatures on two different documents, and the rest were straight up auto pen. When an auto pen is a computer, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they know exactly which ones were signed by auto pen. They don't know if Biden authorized any of the auto pens. That's what's at question. And of course, his dementia and his cancer now precludes that. You're never going to find out. And so what the DOJ is looking at under Trump's, supervision is looking at, okay, do we try to find out who these treasonous people are? That was part of his tongue-in-cheek statement when he was saying, Biden didn't, I don't blame Biden. He didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
It was all auto pen. So I just wonder what's going to happen there. Did you guys see that the Mexican army tried to invade?
Oh.
What'd they try to invade?
They tried to invade New York Harbor.
And ended up busting up their.
You guys didn't see this?
No.
I did. I think it was
my goodness.
absolutely. I had to ask if there was
pull it
a
up right here.
Mexican Navy to begin with, because if this is the kind of shit they do.
Let's see where it's
at.
Oh, and not only that, Chuck Schumer blamed he blamed this. Okay, so Schumer blames deadly Mexican Navy Brooklyn Bridge wreck on Elon Musk's Doge audit. Because apparently the bridge is not lit up enough. All right, so there's the Mexican Navy.
Is that what that ship was? Was that
Mexican Navy? Now look at this.
Which I find hysterical.
Here's the thing. Now I'm going to play the video for you guys, and once I start playing it, I'll go to full screen. All right. I want you to tell me which way is that boat heading?
Straight into a bridge.
Straight towards the bridge. But which part of the boat is going?
Why is it going backwards?
Exactly.
And there's people.
So you're going to invade New York Harbor
backwards,
and you're going to do it ass backwards? That sounds like the Mexican Navy.
Now that would be a Polish Navy.
Right.
They fucked up big time.
And apparently there was a repair thing right there. See that?
I think two people got killed here.
Oh, did they? I did not
believe
see that
so.
part. Let's go back to the article here.
Blasting Mexican music.
A boat flying the Mexican flag and blasting a Mexican music crashed into the Brooklyn Bridge tonight. How symbolic. And let's hear what old Chucky Shitmer
We know that the Trump administration has been meddling in U.S. Coast Guard operations, from staffing to command and comms. And I have the general sense of a Doge dysfunction in parts of the Coast Guard. To put it mildly, after being fully briefed on last night's Brooklyn Bridge accident, one thing is very clear.
You're a fucking
There are many
idiot.
more questions than answers.
You're a complete
What a
dumbass.
fucking idiot. Dude,
how-
the boat is going backwards into the Brooklyn Bridge.
And that's somehow Trump's fault.
And that's somehow Trump's fault.
No, it's somehow Elon's fault because Doge.
Iran.
Like, how do you... how do you tie those things together? Because
you're a desperate piece of shit Democrat
run out of the same
that
department.
puts cheese on a raw burger patty on the grill.
On the off grill? On the grill that's
That grill's not even turned on.
So is he saying that Elon has doged up the Defense Department now? Because that's a whole totally separate department from the Department of State. You have two different things going.
Correct. Speaking of Elon,
dumbass.
Elon destroys Bill Gates. Let's listen to this. Elon comes out. They asked him a question, and this chick is.
I do want to ask you about U.S. aid and the comments that Bill Gates made the other day, and I know that you called him.
Yeah, he's a good lad.
I know you've said that already. I wondered,
Also,
and I'm just.
Who does Bill Gates think he is to make comments about the welfare of children, given that he frequented Jeffrey Epstein?
Okay, well, he said he regrets those, and he spent a lot.
What did he say? How much time did he
I
spend?
wouldn't. I would not trust that guy to babysit my kids. So there you. Elon's like, what do you think of Bill Gates? And he's like, the guy that hung out with Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't trust that guy to babysit my kids.
I mean,
yeah. So this was a meeting where Elon was being asked a whole bunch of questions, and he ended up flipping around on this dude. She was woefully inept in her.
Of course.
Presentation there.
She should
and
have
Elon destroys her. What it had to do with
She should have had prior investigative skills.
Some of those people are so retarded. So there's Elon rips on Bill Gates as well. He should.
Did you see Dan Bongino's statement that he made?
Yeah, I'm very disappointed. Which one?
It's up on your thing. Play it. It's very good.
Oh, you sent me this one? All right, go ahead.
Right there, play it.
Oh, of course you're not going to unmute automatically, you dick.
Tickets, because you're probably not. We're about to ruin your summer if you're a bad guy. So I'm just warning you now, like, don't buy movie tickets because you're probably not going to cash them in. If you're a violent criminal, this FBI under our leadership, we don't care who gets the credit. All we care about is making your streets safer. The attitude every morning from the president on down, he, the president of the United States, wants to be able to get out in front of the American people and say, your lives are noticeably different. He wants people to be able to touch it and feel it. I don't care if you're in Stewart, Florida or Harlem, New York. He wants you to walk outside and say, wow, my neighborhood does look different. We're about to ruin your summer if you're a bad
Better
guy.
than smelling it.
Wow, Larry.
I liked it. I thought it was.
I like that, and I've liked everything that Bongino and Cash have done up until this interview where they came out and said that Epstein killed himself. They looked at all the info and Epstein killed him.
Yes.
Nobody fucking believes that.
Nobody believes that.
Nobody believes that. So I'm wondering if they're playing.
Playing nice guy.
I think they're playing.
Kennedy killed himself too. You didn't know that?
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm wondering if that.
And so did Lincoln.
Yeah, I'm
Shot
trying to figure
himself
out
right in the
what
back
the
of the
deal
head.
is on that.
Damn logistics.
Yeah. Got up, walked across the room, shot himself in the head, went back and sat down.
What's the deal, Tisha? Did you send me the thing on the dingleberry?
Oh, I didn't send it to you.
You didn't send me the
I'm
dingleberry?
sorry.
Oh man, we got to see the dingleberry.
We got to see the dingleberry. Don't get
that's
excited in the
not it.
chat. It's not an actual dingleberry.
It could be.
Dale says that Schumer there was crying and blaming Musk and Trump. You know why? Do you know why the truth is, Dale, why he was crying and blaming Musk and Trump about that boat? Because there was his new cleaning staff was in the hull being smuggled in, and they accidentally hit that bridge, and he couldn't get his new illegal immigrants to come in and clean his house. I can guarantee it.
Yeah.
Plus, they knew how to cook burgers properly, and he desperately needs that.
Color awful.
I guess it's
There.
up behind me. I didn't change my thing back.
I wonder if
I
that
sent it
captain
back.
still
You
has
sent it?
his license after that one.
No.
This is from Detroit. This is a Detroit news source. So
this
it's going to be hilarious.
Congresswoman Debbie Dingell responding to a viral video of her during a House hearing. Take a look. It shows her eyes closed, possibly nodding off for a quick cat nap there. This is during a marathon House committee hearing on Medicaid. The video, which was shared to conservative news site Town Hall, got more than 600,000 views on X. The Congresswoman saying, after seeing this, she said she'd been up for 31 straight hours fighting Republicans trying to gut Medicaid, and she closed her eyes
it was
to
an
think about
overnight
America with
meeting.
access
I'll give
to
it that much.
affordable
But
health
she
care.
fell asleep a lot earlier
She wasn't the
than
only one, by the
Republican on
way,
the other
to
side
fall
did.
asleep. Democratic Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky of Illinois also was caught taking a snooze. It's not just the Midwest states. The Republican from Utah, Blake Moore, also had to be awakened from his cat nap.
But his was
But
at
neither
5
one of those-
o'clock in the morning.
Correct. And were
After
either one of those
18
in front?
hours.
Were they right front and center?
Wait a minute. I have
he
a
was.
question. Didn't Debbie Dingleberry belong to the same party that messed up our health care? Made it more expensive?
Yeah, a little
less
bit.
accessible?
It's
not the,
Come on.
what do they call
Come
that?
on.
They call that Obamacare. Took my
That was-
deductible from $0 to $7,200. That
It's pronounced abomination care.
abomination care.
Yeah, abomination.
But yeah, I mean,
like abomination, but with an O
Listen.
to denote who was in charge then.
there should be rules in the legislature about
They can't fall
these
asleep?
fucking sessions.
You know
no,
what?
it was an overnight
Congresswoman
session.
Debbie
Like,
Dingell
literally
responding to a
overnight.
viral video of
Stupid.
her during a House hearing. Take a look.
Stupid thing. Automatically playing. Now here, I wanted to do this. Okay, that.
She told another news source, this is Click on Detroit, local
Right.
WDIV. She said to another local news source that she was just closing her eyes in deep thought about America with free health care.
Now, if she would have,
Listen, she looks dead.
she looks dead, but
There's
here's
nothing about just closing her eyes to think about
We'll all
America.
be dead before there's free health care because free health care doesn't exist. Somebody's paying for it.
Yeah.
It's not free.
Listen, guys, I'm going to explain this to everybody, including everybody at the table and everybody in the audience right now. Look, I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on. She is doing a Michael Jackson pose. See how her nose looks like it's been chopped off, and she's wearing the big sunglasses? or the big glasses and the blonde hair. That is just literally her going.
Let's not talk about how she inherited
That's all
the
it
seat
is,
to begin
guys.
with.
That's a Michael Jackson relaxed pose. If she would have gone with that, I would believe it. The only thing missing is like maybe the diaper cloth mask that
Are
he
you
used to
sure
wear.
she's just not leaning back, waiting for somebody to put something in her mouth?
Her mouth is closed.
I think she's practicing being good. I mean, she inherited the seat to begin with. So, I mean, you can't have much respect for her anyway.
Dingleberry.
But
she inherited the seat.
For the love of God.
All right, so we covered Dingleberry.
Yeah, her husband died. She inherited it.
Oh, that's right. Larry, are you ready with your lightning round over there?
I've got the lightning round. Let me see.
Give it to us, Larry.
Ooh, well, we already got this one, so let me pull to the other one. Where'd it go? Huh.
What do you got? All right, I'm going to Larry.
Here we go.
Whoops. That's
You
not
got
the one I want.
there it
No,
is.
I want what?
There's my laptop. There you go.
I know, but I want to go to.
Oh, you got the wrong. Oh, there you go.
That's it.
That's good enough. There we go.
Well, it didn't go to you.
Speaker Hall.
It switched me.
Oh.
Go ahead. No, I know.
Okay, Speaker Hall it's a bad week for Jocelyn Benson, and it's getting worse. Ooh, in a press conference today, Speaker of the House Matt Hall, Republican, Rhino, Richland Township, criticized Secretary of State and 2026 Democratic Gubernational.
This Gubernational, Larry.
Gubernational.
No, we don't interrupt Larry when he's stepping on his own.
Candidate, SPLC Jocelyn Benson. Okay, for those of you who don't know what SPLC is, that's the Southern Poverty Law Center, or Socialist Progressives and Lying Communists.
This is very true.
Okay.
Yes. Jocelyn Benson for what he called a clear violation of campaign finance law and the lack of consequences that followed. His comments were in direct response from a question posed by the Midwesterner that came a day after Attorney General Dana Nasty confirmed that Benson violated state law by announcing her candidacy for governor from within the official government office. Despite acknowledging the violation, Nussel said her office would not prosecute due to what she described as
why would you?
One Democrat doesn't prosecute another.
Exactly. Exactly. Why would you?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you don't
She's
do
not
that.
a Republican.
No.
Yeah.
No.
The fact that Dana Nasty even came out and pointed out it was a violation of the law is incredible, Hall said. She's essentially admitting the law was broken, but also saying nothing will be done about it. Well, because she's a Democrat.
Right.
Oh, well, it doesn't say that.
You injected that?
I injected that.
Okay.
How dare you?
The Midwesterner reported Monday on Nessel's ruling that SPLC Benson violated the Michigan Campaign Finance Act by illegally conducting her 2026 gubernatorial. Yes. Candidate inside the lobby of the Richard A.
Did you say Gubernational?
Gubernational.
You sure did at one point.
Yes.
He's Gubernational.
Yeah, I'll explain that to her later.
It's all right.
All right. Despite finding that Benson broke the law, Nessel noted it is the responsibility of the Democrat legislator to determine whether to amend the Act's enforcement authority. Because I don't believe I should ever prosecute a Democrat no matter what they do.
Oh my God.
I didn't say that.
Didn't say that?
No.
But that's what she's thinking.
So they seriously want the
will
legislator to change the law so that government officials can do non-government shit.
Yeah, I don't think the law needs to be changed. I think
I'm
she's
sorry.
looking for an excuse.
Who did we have on the show, Larry? Ryan Kelly.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Didn't Ryan Kelly go to jail?
Ryan Kelly?
Might have.
Our friend Ryan Kelly.
For sneezing towards January 6th?
Yes, he stood on the Capitol footsteps and he got 60 days in
60
federal
days.
prison.
But this bitch is going to sit in a government office in clear violation of campaign finance. And her scissor sister says, nothing to see here.
Yes. Yes, Dana
Nothing to see here.
Nasty did nothing.
Nothing to see here.
Yes.
What's the next one, Larry? Give it to us. Give it to me, Larry.
Okay. On the 5th anniversary of Operation Haircut, Angela Regis now chairs the key oversight
Holy
subcommittee.
shit. That's awesome.
Congratulations to Angela
You know,
Regis.
we haven't had Angela on the show yet.
Yeah.
She's awesome. She's when we went to what the Wayne State one, the rally for Trump. Was that Wayne? Where was that at? Not Wayne State. It was over there, the college over there.
Yeah, that was Monroe.
Monroe.
No, not Monroe. Macomb County.
Macomb. That's what it was. Macomb.
Not Monroe. Macomb. Sorry, I knew there's an M in there.
Angela was the reason I got tickets and sat behind Trump with you and a number of other friends.
Oh, nice.
Because I met Angela at the Second Amendment rally down in Lansing.
Yeah, I like Angela. Angela is
she needs to come on the show.
Top-notch person.
We will not be as flamboyant as we are on Tuesdays.
This I gotta see.
Yes, and if you remember 5 years ago, Angela Regis was standing on the lawn of Michigan's Capitol building cutting hair, along with one of our good friends, Yogi. So
every once in a while, Yogi will hit me up in Facebook or chime in and say something, send me something. She's such a sweetheart.
She was.
She's huge on the bikers for Trump.
Yeah, she got ticketed for this. She got charged with a crime.
Yeah.
Of course, it all got thrown out later down the road.
Yes.
Anyways,
Yogi.
Angela Regis was standing on the lawn of Michigan's Capitol building cutting hair in protest of pandemic shutdowns during what came to be known as Operation Haircut. Today, she sits inside the same Capitol building, not as a protester, but as a state representative.
The bitch boss.
Yes.
As in, fuck y'all.
She's definitely not a bitch.
No, I'm saying, but
Yeah,
that position where she's like, you want to mess with me? I'll be the bitch.
She's an incredible.
She's awesome.
young
I love
woman.
her. Yeah. There's a number of our people. We had who else we have on there? Thompson.
Yeah, Jamie Thompson.
She's a kick-ass. She only ran because her daughter died of similar with Larry. She got attacked. And the laws did not protect her, and we got disarmed and all that shit. So
here's another good one. Michigan Democrats seek to impose an $84.3 million summer tax on all vehicle owners. Doesn't that make you happy and all warm inside?
wow. Hey, how come our gas briefly dipped and then somehow went right back up? Did Whitmer impose some more taxes on the gas?
I'm not sure, but I
She
paid
maybe might could've.
$2.77 for gas.
It was $69. So what's the summer tax all about?
Well, let's find out here. Michigan Democrats are pushing a $84.3 million summer tax on their budget for the next fiscal year that some argue will drive up the cost of enjoying the state's natural resources.
You think?
Senate Democrats just passed their summer tax. Michigan Senate Republicans posted on X last week after Democrats approve a record $84.6 billion spending plan. Breaking. Senate Democrats just passed their summer tax. They voted to hike your car registration by another $10 and increase the cost of hunting, fishing, and boating licenses. This summer, Democrats expect you to pay more to drive on the lake and fish or boat.
When does this shit take effect?
It doesn't, because it has to go through the Republican House and will die.
It better. I don't have any more money to spend
They
on this
voted
fucking car.
to hike your car registration by another $10 and increase the cost of hunting, fishing, and boating.
My car is 24 years old.
Right.
Do you think I need to pay $190 something?
Probably a POS tax.
The massive spending package includes
Point of sale, not piece of shit.
a change from the
sure.
currently an operational $14 recreational passport to enter the state parks to a mandatory $10 passport for all vehicles owned in Michigan. That's expected to generate $43.5 million for the Michigan Department of Natural Resources.
Does that just say mandatory?
Mandatory?
Yeah.
You want to tell me how people with handicap access are supposed to get to those parks? And why should they have to pay for mandatory
It
fucking
says
license?
Democrats aim to generate an additional $11.9 million from increasing voting registration fees. So
now we can go voting.
Good thing my boat is
At the bottom of the
2027.
Oh, good job, Larry.
Yes, the one that we had the
But
tragic.
how does that help me in my boat?
Yes, the tragic boating accident pontoon where I lost all my.
How does that help me in my boat, Larry?
So
The shit,
you don't have a
Larry.
boat?
Shit cracks me up.
But all this and more is available for everybody to read on the Midwesterner.
The Midwesterner.
That is the Midwesterner.news.
.news.
Yes. If you want to know what's going on in this state, these guys really got it going on. And there's no liberal bend.
And there's no talk of my county having a state senator.
Yeah, Southwest Michigan home sales nosedive by 20%
What?
as prices
It's because everybody's buying a house in
age
Detroit.
of
Didn't you hear
first-time
that?
home buyers continue to climb.
That depends.
Michigan.
Well, it's kind of funny because my neighbor's home is 1,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
Got 50 feet of lake frontage, right, on a lot that's 480 feet long, I think.
Yeah.
And they got 405,000. So
Cheese and rice.
yeah,
Wow.
$405 a square foot.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I'd say.
So a couple things. Are you done, Larry? The Midwesterner, your lightning round over there.
Let's see.
I'm wearing the lightning shirt, but you did not strike very hard with lightning.
Republican Rep Harris to
guess
introduce
not.
school safety legislation.
All right, get her done. Man.
Yes.
You know what safety regulations you need to re-announce in schools? Mandatory training for all teachers and faculty, and then voluntary carrying of those who want to carry, but mandatory training.
Yes. Yes. Well, you know, I proposed an idea on this to my legislator.
Mhm.
Legislator.
Yes,
legislator.
gubernatorial.
That what they should do is get teacher volunteers that that are willing to go get their CPL and carry.
Mhm.
Then they have to go through an aggressive course at their local county sheriff's department.
Yeah.
And then be deputized.
I'm not opposed to that, Larry. No.
Yeah.
Here.
I think that
Why not?
all teachers should have to go. Listen, if
But
we
you gotta
go,
understand, teachers, most of them are libtards, and they're not
correct.
gonna do that.
But you want to do this job, and you're going to have
There's
30
more
plus.
hiding in the shadows than we know.
You want 30 plus children in your classroom that you want to take responsibility for their minds. Then you should. I don't have a problem saying then you should have a mandatory listen. If we were in a inner city, which we're not, we're mostly rural throughout here. But if we were in an inner city, and there was a rash of rapes going on, the city would offer classes, self-defense classes to the women in that area. Now, take that to the next level. You're in charge of these children. We've seen it in the school boards where they get all up in arms about how they have the right to teach the kids. Okay. Well, not only do you have the right, you have the responsibility, and I think you should be trained in self-defense, including firearms. Because what happens when somebody comes in with a firearm in your classroom and somehow you wrestle the gun away from them and you have no fucking clue how to use that weapon now in self-defense? I'm not asking you to carry one. I'm telling you, you better know how to use it so that you can defend if somehow you end up with that weapon in your hands and that assailant then comes at you again. How do you defend yourself? And then you require all of this. The teachers, and they require a lot of the fucking teachers, a lot of mandatory training they have to go through already. And you're going to tell me that mandatory training that way? Now, mandatory training for all the teachers for self-defense, and then voluntary concealed carry, as Larry said, for the ones who want to conceal carry. Larry, you pushing buttons over there?
Me? Why would I? I don't know what you're talking
I'll go back to you and Tisha. Just I got to push that button.
What are you button pushing on?
All right, let's do
I'll
this.
push a button. 196 days.
196 days of not having
representation in the Michigan State Senate. This governor has known for Election day was 196 days ago. So we'll give her till the day after, 195 days, since our governor knew that she needed to fucking find somebody. And she's not even trying.
Not care about you.
Which is funny because she needs Saginaw. And
yeah, I can't understand the stupidity. Isn't Saginaw a blue area anyway?
Yeah, quite. Yeah.
So
the problem is that it's kind of tied to Bay County, which is kind of. I mean, they voted for Trump last time, but
she got going there.
They're a little waffly. They're kind of purple. Okay. But then they got Midland County, and Midland County is Republican, so they're kind of just
Larry's sniffing it now.
Nervous. They're a little nervous.
They're a little nervous.
But
you know, well, I think
196
who brought it?
days,
Did you bring it up, or did you bring? Somebody brought up earlier that the more they keep doing
stupid
the
shit.
more. You brought up your buddy, the black guy. That's now like, fuck you. I'm not voting for you. You did that was in reference to Kamala Harris. It's like the more they do, the less people support them, and they know it, and that's what they're afraid of. And if they can't cheat realistically and all that stuff, they're going to try to figure something out.
And this is going bipartisan now. I mean, there's some Democrats who are like, wait a minute. This is kind of wrong. 270,000 people should kind of have a representative in office if they're going to be taxed like this stupid summer tax bullshit.
Yeah, what is that?
Is she trying to get that through, or is it gone through?
No, she's trying to get it through, and it's going to stall.
Senate, but it'll die in the House. But I mean, I don't have a person in the Senate to call and say, listen, this bill is bullshit.
Right.
What are you going to do about it?
You're going to do shit. You're going to sniff them all there, you sniffer? He's doing a Biden sniffer.
Oh, God.
I agree with you. And
Sorry.
it's no, you're
If
right.
there's 365 days in a year.
Yeah.
And we have gone 196, knowing that we needed a senator in the 35th district.
WTF?
I mean,
why do you want her to appoint somebody? Why wouldn't you want?
It's not an appointed.
It's a
It
special
has
election.
to be elected. It has to be.
Right.
And she just refuses to set the election.
Has anybody even stepped up to say that they're willing to run?
From the Democrat Party? No, and that's the problem.
That's why.
That's why, is because nobody from her party will say yes.
Mm-hmm.
Make me the poster child for this thing. And then they'll probably have to fight Shooty on the right.
What you need to do is you need to get somebody in there that's going to fake it. I'll run as a Democrat, but I'm a Republican. They don't need to know that.
Well, the problem is they'll investigate your track record.
They do know.
I agree with you, but they'll investigate your track record. So you'd have to get
They're
a complete
not like
unknown.
Republicans.
And
Republicans will let anyone run and support them and whatever, and then it's all bullshit. But then the Democrats, they will find somebody with credentials that knows what they're doing.
Exactly.
That sort of thing. They're not like Republicans.
Yes, minority, yes. Jamie's daughter died. Oh, Jamie's daughter died in a motorcycle accident. Was that? I thought she was attacked. You may be right. I may be mixing stories together. But either way,
Jamie's daughter did die in a motorcycle accident.
Okay. Yes. But she saw what was going on. I'm trying to remember. It was something to do with the kids that was the impetus for her running. Look that up. Anyways, all right. Let's look at this, boys and girls. Let's see about this one. I'm going to push that button and see if it works. Oh, it did work. All right. No one gives. This is Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton. No one gives someone a $400 million jet for free without expecting anything in return. Be serious. I think he did get something in return. He got several $1 billion of business ventures proposed to the United States from Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and a whole bunch of other places.
And
but
not like waste plants on the.
Not only did they give him the plane, but they also said, we're going to come do business in America. Yeah. So he did get something for it. Yeah, you're right, Hillary. But let's look what Donald Trump's response was. No one deletes 30,000 emails and gets away with it. be serious. And the chant "lock her up" comes out again. Thank you for posting that. That was one of our friends there. Now look at this one. Do we need to do any commentary on that? Pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
50 Cent appears to be trolling P. Diddy here. This is, I think, his high school photograph. Is maybe a senior photograph. It says, most likely to get caught with 784 dildos and gallons of lube.
I mean,
if you're going to troll somebody, there you go.
I started watching the Dateline series about this.
It's disgusting.
It's so gross.
It's so gross.
It's so bad. So bad.
So here's what's going on. This Tim Pool posted this. I'm not a great big Tim Pool fan, but he does do some stuff. I like Tim Pool much better than I like who's the other guy? The Zionist that Israel can do nothing wrong. He talks when he does a debate, he'll talk about a debate. You want to talk about a debate? Let's do a debate.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
I can't stand him. I thought when the first couple times I saw him do a debate, I was like, oh, he's pretty cool. And then I saw, it's like, dude.
That was George Carville?
No, Carville. That's Serpent Head. Old Serpent Head. No, I'm talking about the young guy young guy, conservative, but he's everything. And you can't say anything negative about Israel. You're a complete anti-Semitist. You're a complete, Jesus. You guys will think of it. I'll think of it. Anyways, Mother Lucy Connolly jailed over racist Southport tweet loses her appeal and faces another 2 years left on her prison sentence. While the rape gangs get away with it throughout the UK, but she did a racist tweet.
Let me guess, anti-jihad.
Mm-hmm. Yep. This guy seems to think that the scandal here. I'm gonna click on it, see what we get out of here.
Throughout the duration of his 4 years.
The auto pen scandal is going to be the biggest scandal in American history. Bigger than Watergate, bigger than Iran-Contra, bigger than anything else. Because you had the deep state Democrat oligarchs running this country and not somebody who was quote unquote elected. You simply can't have it. That's not the way the United States of America is allowed to operate. And my number one question is, Kamala Harris, what did you know and when did you know it? Where have you been? What were you doing? Because it is the vice president's responsibility as well as the cabinet to alert the American people to an inability of the commander in chief to do his job.
Sir, when you think about the scale of this scandal,
start it over
where do you
automatically.
think it would go?
This is why. Anyways, that's
who's the interviewing?
Yeah, who's
the
guy?
Just some dude walking.
Brian Donaldson, right? Byron Donalds.
Who is it though?
I have to look that up. I don't know. It's on Thomas Sowell quotes. So that's Thomas Sowell's a pretty badass guy. There was some other stuff on here.
What was
I'm gonna
his
go
name?
to my Byron Donalds. I'm going to go to the bookmarks over here on X and see what I had bookmarked to share with the children. Yeah. Oh, that was one of them. I'm going to unbookmark
Represents Florida's 19th congressional district.
Yeah. What do we think about the one big beautiful bill? You guys looked at that bill? Have you looked at anything on it?
Parts of it, no.
Yeah. Even from our conservative people, I've heard more of a little bit of a negative because of a few of the things that they've removed. There was something that was like a restriction or there was something in it that would have been hugely beneficial for the people of America, and they took it out in favor of the establishment. Have you guys watched any of the press conferences with the Speaker of the House standing with Trump? And the word on the street is he's pretty panicked. Old Mike Johnson's pretty panicked about some of Trump's rhetoric. You can see it in his face when Trump's talking about stuff that Mike Johnson's not really comfortable with it because, people are saying, like a lot of these people, that he's got some compromising things going on. And that's why just like a couple of the Supreme Court nominations or Supreme Court justices have, well, that's what Roberts, they think that Roberts has some pretty compromising stuff. Or here's the two theories. Either he's he's compromised to where he can be told what to do, or he's such a blue blood Republican and he wants the country club accolades from everybody that he toes the line because he wants that praise and those what do you call it? Not accolades. He wants to be praised. He wants to be, oh, you're doing such a good job, Justice Roberts.
He wants his ego stroked.
Yeah, he wants his ego stroked. And I think that's part of that dynamic. So, all right, that's it for X, that platform. Anything else on Facebook? Oh, I'm going back to that one. That one was funny. Oh, Jen Smith posted. There was a repost by Jen Smith. We love Jen. We haven't seen her in a while. Look at this. Male pattern baldness. I don't even want to know what the hell that advertisement is. There's meat. Oh, my buddy John, my neighbor who set up a ranch down in North Carolina is selling meat online. These are all this stuff. My buddy James was camping this weekend. I didn't get a chance to make it up there. Too much going on here. We got chickens out in the coop now.
Cool.
Oh my.
Oh yeah.
Well, I got
The birdies.
a couple more egg cartons I got to bring over.
Okay.
Keep forgetting about them.
Yeah, we're probably 2-3 months away from even getting some production out of them. But the chickens we moved a bunch of them down there. That's pretty cool. I would encourage everybody out there, no matter what level you're going to do it on, even get you just 2 or 3.
So I read that the Democrats were complaining that the tax bill that they just passed was only going to benefit billionaires. But the tax bill is no tax on tips.
Well, see, that's the same lie that Democrats have told. That when Bush cut taxes, it was the same thing: tax cuts for the rich.
Right.
When Trump cut taxes the first time,
yeah,
again, same thing: tax cuts for the rich. Every time a Democrat speaks about taxes, it's tax cuts for the rich. But in order for that to be an accurate statement, rich must mean anybody who makes more than $25,000 a year.
Right.
Because the Trump tax cuts, were the fairest tax cuts in American history. They cut taxes that benefited the middle class more than any other group.
Right.
Now, does that mean that a tax that some billionaire got a bigger tax cut than I did, money-wise?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they pay more taxes than I do, money-wise. So when they pay more taxes, they're going to get more money back in a tax cut because they make 100 times more than I do. But I'm not out there right now. I'm not the guy that's out there that thinks that everybody else that's working owes me a living.
True.
Right.
So.
What were you, Patrick?
I don't believe in class warfare.
You were saying about the tax cut or the benefiting the rich. That's their mantra every time.
Yeah. Every time.
Every time.
And
the reality is, what Trump's doing, this big beautiful bill, is going to benefit the average person. Well, I mean, the fact that
no tax on overtime.
Well, no tax on overtime and no tax on tips. I'll tell you what.
And no tax on Social Security.
No
correct.
Tax on Social Security.
And here's the thing. I only ever get paid in tips. I mean, that's just the bottom line. From now on, every check I get, I want them to write in the memo. Tips.
There you go.
And you know what's interesting? I've done that before. Where my meal was comped at a restaurant, and I still tipped the wait staff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's no bill because it was comped, and I gave them money. So you can get tipped without getting any other wages in consideration. So when I go on consult on a construction project, just give me a tip. Don't even bother give me a
Shoeshine Boy
I'll give you a
works,
tip. First horse, second race.
So Shoeshine Boy was
works primarily on tips, right?
100%. Yeah.
So there are jobs out there that are just tips.
Exactly. The chat is helping me out immensely. They said Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro. I do not like Ben Shapiro.
Why?
I think he's a little douche, dude.
Oh, I think he's great. The way he just tears up liberals.
I used to think that until I saw him use the same tactics as anybody who said anything negative against Israel. The Israeli government is no different than the American government. They are as fucking corrupt as the day is long, and the only saving grace we have right now is Trump and him getting people out of there. But
He's going to talk really fast like this, right?
Yes,
every
but
time
the
he's around,
Israeli government,
he says like 100 words a minute.
Yeah,
100 words a second.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the Israeli government is just as fucking corrupt. That doesn't mean I don't like Jewish people. That doesn't mean that I don't appreciate all those people doing stuff. That means I do not like their government. And I think their government is fucking corrupt and doing exactly the same things that the American government, that the British government, that all these other governments are doing in foreign wars.
Well, what government isn't corrupt?
Correct.
That's the question.
But he doesn't allow for distinction between
Zelensky.
Israel.
Zelensky's not corrupt.
His own people are. If he didn't have armed people around him, his own people would have taken him out.
Yes.
He has a lower approval rating than Biden.
Right.
Yes.
Which is amazing when you're surrounded by literal Nazi descendants who have swastikas on their fucking tanks.
Yeah.
That our media doesn't want to cover. Also,
have you paid attention on social media? Literally, nobody believes Joe Biden was diagnosed with
cancer 10 days ago.
10 days ago.
Yeah, no.
Literally nobody.
Nobody.
Everybody is questioning that. You know, and I have to say that, you know, when you think about it, right? How would you know that you had symptoms of prostate cancer?
I think
if you wore a diaper.
Well, I saw the clip. Did you see the clip where
How are you gonna know?
where he gets up in the middle of an interview on either CNN or MSNBC or something like that? He gets up in the middle of the interview during the middle of a question after he appears to like adjust himself in the seat.
Yeah.
And then stands up and they're like, he probably shit himself because he's dealing with prostate cancer.
Right.
And it's now spread through the rest of his. He probably doesn't have any sphincter control. And that's part of the reason he was shitting himself. And they're talking about since it spread into his bones and everything like that, down in that hip region, he's probably in immense pain. I have a little bit, I mean, he's still a piece of shit criminal and he's, you know, the law of sowing and reaping and God can't be mocked. You're going to reap what you've sown. So that lifestyle of fucking people over and now but the reality is it's probably why he wanders off because he's in immense pain and he's shitting himself. And these fucking people who wanted power so bad have propped him up.
Right. For
and
so
then
long.
auto-penned and control the government. And that's what we're talking about. Who's in charge? They're running shit from behind the scenes for 4 years and trying to drive. And I go, I'm not a depraved, soulless fucking person. So I don't think about how to destroy the person next to me, let alone be in a government position and destroy the government for what little benefit. What you're gonna destroy the whole thing so you can be the king of the shit pile that's left?
Mm-hmm.
Trump is Trump because he goes. You look back at that interview with Oprah, and then all of his thing. But that interview with Oprah, he's like, no, he's the same guy back then. He's like, things got to change. We're being screwed over, and America's a better, should be a prosperous country. We're getting screwed over. And she's like, are you going to run for president? And at times she was all excited about it, right? Mm-hmm. And he's like, I don't think so. But somebody. If it gets bad
somebody
needs to, and if it gets bad enough, and that's where he's at. It's like it literally got bad enough. And what's interesting is it's coming out now where he's talking about him and Melania going for walks before the first term, and now even more before the second term when he was going out for walks, and they're talking this whole thing out, and before he ran for the second time, that prayer, and he said, now I'm doing this. This is what this is. And he makes that statement. He's like, you know what? And we read it earlier in the show tonight where he says, you know, God, he was doing the thing about Biden not being in charge. And he goes, but then they didn't expect me. Make America great. And what he keeps saying is, what's the phrase he's saying right now? He's like, God created the world or something like that. And he says, but God put me here to make America great again. It's like God is in charge, God's in control, but he put me here to make America great again. And what I love, notice this, you guys, you notice how he's conducting himself? I didn't see this in the first term. When he's doing these announcements now, a lot of times it's from the Oval Office. Majority of the time it's from the Oval Office. And he's just going around the room. And he's going, and this person, and he goes, hey, say something. And he's just bringing everybody up that's involved in whatever that conversation. I watched it on the Golden Dome today. I wasn't thrilled about the Golden Dome, the whole thing like that. It's another military project or like that. But he brought up, I think, 5 or 6 at least different people to speak. And when he was talking about Doge, right? He's sitting at the Resolute desk. He's the commander in chief. Elon's standing up. I think Elon, he had a few other people that are helping out at different points, but he's like, now Elon, why don't you tell the people about what you've discovered and some of the things that I've issued executive orders on? And he goes, oh, okay, Mr. President. And he goes and he breaks it all down and constantly every one of these people is looking to President Trump. And I watch them. There's not this disingenuousness. I listened to those guys talking in the Golden Dome today. And they were like, there's a way that you gush over somebody there's a way when you get into somebody's presence that is at that moment the coolest dude you've ever met. And you're not sucking up to them. You're like, you're actually going, dude, you're too cool, right?
It's the difference between respect and like flat out just fangirling.
Exactly. And I watched these guys today and they're like, thank you, Mr. President. And I'll say that we did such and such, but Mr. President, I really got to say the way that you're doing this and everything like that, such and such and such and such. And they were, again, it's not fanboy. It's not a fan. It was this genuine going, I'm fucking impressed with you, dude. And I got to tell you, and I've been in those situations in private where you're with somebody, or I'll get done with an interview on the show here. And I'll get done with the show. And that's one of the reasons I love having people in studio more than Zoom, even though I've had some good Zoom. But in studio, we get done, we shut the show down. You guys don't even know the conversations that we have. I've sat here with people, Larry, we've sat here with people after the initial interview for an hour or more.
Yeah, getting to know people. We've had some really interesting guests over the years.
But we will be out there and we're like, dude, that was a great interview. And I love that you did that. And I love and you're like, you're literally fanboying, but it's not disingenuous and it's not for hype and it's not for a position.
I stayed an hour after the show and then left. And you were still talking. Listen, I had to get going because my wife.
Yeah, and we're sitting up here still having a conversation because we call that in the Assembly of God the afterglow.
The afterglow.
Yeah, in the Assembly of God, we just call it the afterglow. But that's the dynamic that we're looking at. I'm looking at as I watch Trump, and I was like, wow, man, that he has this commanding presence and this rapport with people where when it's the Bill Maher effect, right? When we played the clip for Bill Maher, what was it, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago? Yeah. And Bill Maher was like, he's like, Kid Rock got me to go and invited me. And he's like, I'm expecting this pompous, arrogant mother, this guy. Yeah. And I got there and he goes,
that guy doesn't exist.
He goes, that was not the guy. That was not the guy I experienced at all. That did not exist. And he's like, I was blown away.
And the libtards are pissed at him because of that.
I'm sure.
Yep.
Yeah. But that's the dynamic I'm talking about is I'm watching these people that are around Trump now who are of course of the same flavor, but they're not. He had yes men and deep state pieces of shit in there before in the first term, and really didn't get much done. I mean, he got a lot done, but he didn't get
He's learned a lot.
We're 119 days or 120 days into this second term.
Oh yeah, like 100.
And he's accomplished more, his words, but I'll agree, accomplished more than any president in history in 100 plus days. And I'm like, dude, you look at, you go, what? You did this, you did this, you did this, you did this, and he's not stopping. He's the snowball's rolling down the hill, and there's a village at the bottom that's going to get decimated, and that village is liberalism and leftism and all sorts of other bullshit. There's a huge wokeism sign over that little town, and that town's going to get rolled right up into that ice ball and head right into the lake at the bottom of the ravine.
The woke sign's going to be stuck right in the
Promises made, promises kept, right?
Hell yeah, and that's I'm amazed at that. Dale was pointing out a little bit earlier. He also pointed out Shapiro. These guys know me. They know I try to do if I can't come up with a name, I'll do the impression. Listen, I gotta listen. The way you're talking to me, I don't listen. You're Shapiro.
Yeah.
You like him.
I
That's
don't
fine.
come up with names that fast.
That's fine.
I think it would be great on this show because he'd come right up in here and he can talk to everybody.
And as soon as I
He can
said,
finish
I
your
think the
sentences
Israeli
for you.
government's a piece of shit and they're destroying their people, he would go, well, that's not true. You're wrong.
No, he wouldn't say it like that. He'd say, that's not true, you're wrong.
That's not true. You're wrong.
See.
Anyways, one of the things Dale said just before that was that old Slick Willie got a helicopter and he still uses it to this day.
Oh boy.
So Trump
Did he really?
Trump gets a $400 million totally transparent gift from a foreign government because Boeing can't seem to get a fucking plane delivered in 7 years.
Right.
I heard Schumer got a Bentley. He's gifted a Bentley from England.
Of course.
Schumer? Chucky Chuck?
And he drives it every day, yep. And that's not being gifted to the Air Force, right? It's gifted to him personally.
I drove a Bentley for 9 months, Patrick.
I know.
I
rode in it once.
I'm going to have a very
One
difficult time criticizing Schumer's acceptance of that gift, even though Schumer's a piece of shit and doesn't deserve it. If somebody gave me a Bentley, that would be very, very he's a fucking douchebag. Anyway, but the fact is, the gift from it was Qatar that did it.
Yeah.
Do you say Qatari?
Don't you play guitar?
Do you know I played Qatari when I was a
Did
kid?
you?
Yeah,
played
I played
Qatari?
Asteroids. I played Asteroids on Qatari.
Yeah.
And what was the other one?
Well, you were playing
Isn't it
guitar
Qatar?
last week when I came in.
Qatar.
Somebody famous calls it Cutter.
I've always heard it Qatar. Are we changing it like we did for Ukraine when it was Kiev and now it's Kyiv?
They're
Do you know it
different
was-
cities. I told you this on the show way back then. Those are two different cities.
I always heard the capital was Kiev. And now
Right.
they refer to the capital as Kyiv.
Okay, if they made it the capital, that's something different. But they are two separate cities.
Okay.
There is Kiev and there is Kyiv. Two different cities.
I'm not going to disagree with you. But, Qatari.
Check the tape.
I'm going to play Qatari.
But I've been taking guitar lessons.
Guitar lessons?
Yes.
Well, maybe you'll get a $400 million airplane out of your guitar lessons.
Guitar lessons, yeah.
Didn't they say that in order for it to have the security measures and systems on that plane, that it was going to take longer than Trump's administration to actually implement those, and he wasn't.
Yeah, that's why he got it from somebody else.
So he's not going to be actually be able to use the damn thing.
I'm sure if they donated one, they worked through the parameters of what they. The problem is that, and we've noted this. Air Force One and technically Air Force Two, the backup plane, have both been grounded or unable to fly multiple times because they're 40 years old.
They're old,
and they haven't been updated. And they Trump's famous, or it's on the web that he came out and said the government approached Boeing for a new Air Force One, and it was delayed, and the price that they gave was unacceptable. And he came back to him, and he got the price lowered, but they still hadn't delivered it by the time he's in this second term, and that's why Qatar stepped up, and they're going to donate the plane. I'm sure that there could be some retrofits. The biggest thing from my studies that I know about Air Force One is there is an escape capsule that the president can be put in and launched. If you watch the movie Air Force One with Harrison Ford, that there is a dynamic to that. I don't think it's not designed exactly that way because they're going to copy it, but there's a dynamic where he can escape from that plane in a capsule that's able to be pushed out and or jettisoned and parachute. I think that's one of the main security measures. The rest security measures, maybe, thicker bulletproof glass throughout the side windows and stuff like that. And then just the configuration through that,
what they put into those things.
Correct. But I guarantee you that do we know how old that plane was that they was donated?
Oh, I didn't look.
So Qatar, let me see. Yeah, I want to know the age of the Qatar plane. And then we'll get ready. Larry already did his lightning round. Hey guys, everybody seems like we're a little tired. No, Tisha's got a long drive home.
I do.
It was that all those fajitas that we ate.
It was huge.
Yeah.
I get the big wraps, and then I realize we're gonna fill these things, and we're gonna be stupid about it. We're gonna fill that thing up, and we're gonna be like, I'm so tired. I ate too much.
It's a food coma. I've been here for a while. I'll admit it.
Are you looking it up, Tish?
I am.
Okay.
I don't see. Oops, that's not what I needed.
Larry, I gotta say this. Lori is awesome. The stuff that she's been posting, I hit the like button on everyone that I see, and I don't see every one of them, but I save, or I what do you call it? Yeah, saved. I put it in the save folder, about half of them. Because she's posting all sorts of health stuff, all sorts of it's glyphosate in the water, all these, mostly health, but then there's a bunch of other stuff. She's doing a hell of a job just keyboard warring.
13 years.
13-year-old plane.
They said that accepting the 13-year-old jet would likely cost U.S. taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars over time, noting that refurbishing the commercial plane would exceed its current value of $400 million.
Okay, but you're starting from zero and then refurbishing versus. So no matter what Boeing delivered.
So apparently,
Boeing's not going to deliver that till 27 or something like that.
Correct.
This says converting a Qatari-owned 747 jet into a new Air Force One for President Donald Trump. This is mainstream media, so don't
we
kill
can't
the
buy
messenger.
it.
Okay. Would involve installing multiple top secret systems, cost over $1 billion, and take years to complete, according to aviation experts with NBC News.
But that's what.
But they say the project would also not be able to be completed by the end of Trump's term in 2029.
Okay. If you get, and from my understanding, and I watched it, there was a whole program. I don't know, guys, you remember it, either Discovery Channel or whatever it was. I don't think the Learning Channel because they went gay, but there was a channel that had a whole airplane, and that's one of the things where I saw Trump. Did you guys ever see the Trump one, where it did a whole show on Trump's? They were like, "This is Donald Trump." At that time, he's just a businessman, and they're like, "Here's his plane." And they would go through, and there was all of these people that had these very expensive planes, and they would go through it. And one of them was profiling Trump's private plane, his big, I think he had a 737 or 747. And no matter what you do, a plane off the line at Boeing is either going to come stripped or it's going to come kind of, what do you call it, standardized. It's going to have some standardized stuff. But most planes delivered from the factory are going to come generic, and you have to retrofit them no matter what. And I remember watching this show, multiple episodes of this show, where people would buy a really expensive airplane and they would gut it. The whole show was about not the original purchase of the airplane, and it was about. You ever watch the shows where they have the RVs and the guys? The guys, it's not quite West Coast Choppers or those type of guys, but they would get the RV.
They turn the RV into
they get it brought to them. The customer comes in and says, "Well, I want this, and I want this, and I want this," and they go through and they gut out the standard RV, and they put in all of everything what that customer wants in that RV, and then they deliver it to them. It was an airplane show like that, to where people are buying either previously owned airplane or a brand new airplane, and it gets brought to these guys, whatever companies there were, like one or two companies, and they're the ones who would retrofit out or change out everything in this airplane. And one of the episodes was Trump's. And I'm like, when they talk about this airplane from Boeing directly, or they talk about the one from Qatar, I'm like, no matter what you get, you're going to get a generic or somebody else's own stuff and want to change it.
Sure.
So to say that this is going to cost us more money, I think that's liberal media spin.
It's apparently,
because you're going to have to retrofit it no matter what was going on.
Right. You're going
as I'm reading it, it says something about
customized. Yes. Go ahead.
They were taking all this information. One of the people they were talking to was he's the managing director at Aerodynamic Advisory, and they're a consulting firm.
Yeah, we need more of those.
But he's an analyst and consultant on commercial and military aviation, and said he thought turning the Qatari jetliner into Air Force One would cost billions and take years.
And what would it cost to take a Boeing standard 747?
Right.
Coming off the line and turning
That's
it
what
into
they're
Air
not
Force
telling you, right?
Exactly.
They're not
doing
telling
a
you that
comparison.
even a Boeing jet they're going to have to take apart and reassemble. So
Correct.
what's wrong with taking this one apart and reassembling it?
Tim was chiming in the chat, and on the one part he said there is 2 separate locations pronounced differently and spelled the same.
No,
Kiev.
One has a Y and one has an I.
Okay.
Kiev and Kiev.
Check that, Tim. And he also said that he played steroids. He played asteroids on Atari and hemorrhoids on Qatari. So I don't know how you play hemorrhoids on Qatari. He also said that the capsule that is going to replace the escape capsule for the president in the jet is going to be replaced by a SpaceX pod by Elon that'll shoot the president into orbit. I'm not sure the validity of that and how true that is.
Shoot the president.
Will it make him an astronaut?
That would have been very appropriate if it was Biden. Because he would have been weightless and able to shit himself without discomfort. And his hips would have worked. So, all right. Larry, what are you doing over there, Larry?
Just checking the news.
You got anything out left?
Let's see. There was something here.
There's always something
going
there.
through a little while ago.
There's no there.
Maine rep warns of next step in trans athlete battle. This is in regards to the Maine representative Laurel Libby, who looks back at her social media post that ignited a statewide controversy, which she ended up getting censured over. And then they took away all of her voting rights and everything as a legislator.
Okay.
And she fought that at the Supreme Court and won today.
Nice.
But see, she's fighting against all this crazy libtard transgender crap.
Oh, like the libs of TikTok? And
like Sage?
Sage?
Yeah. Livingston County's hate group, Sage.
Oh. Are you saying so a libtard won today?
No. She's fighting against the libtard.
Right. And I was saying Libs of TikTok.
Oh.
Libs of TikTok is one of the good groups that exposes libtards on TikTok.
Libs on TikTok.
Yeah. What's the other one?
Are they they're liberals, aren't they? The Libs of TikTok, they're just tired of the
bullshit.
Aren't they?
It's the same with gays against groomers.
They gays too?
Yeah.
No,
gays against groomers is the one.
Right.
Yeah, gays against groomers. Those are two lesbian chicks that got tired of being grouped in with a bunch of fucking retards.
Yeah.
You see that one with Nancy Pelosi where she was so hammered doing.
Oh yeah, give me that one. Send me that one real quick.
Well, you have it. It's.
Oh, is it? You already sent it to me?
Yeah, third one up.
Oh, that's right. I did watch it when you sent it to me initially. Third one up. All right, we gotta do this, and then we'll go to final thoughts. There's Patrick Acton.
Next one right there.
Right there. Check this one out. And of course, it doesn't unmute, and the mute's up there.
For bringing us together on this for this very important initiative, because that was the day we were by law supposed to, and we did, accept the numbers from the electoral college. Spent a good deal of time with the police officers. It's about a decision that was made to ignore the recognition to our police officers. It was one that came with such fierce and defecation. Thank you very much, Mr. Swallow, for bringing us together on this for this very important initiative.
Very important.
It's fierce and defecation.
This area important defecation. Oh shit! That lady is. Wow. All right, let's go with some final thoughts here. Let's figure out. We'll plan on saving the world tomorrow again.
All right.
Well, my final thoughts are that we're living in a very unique and interesting time, and it's exciting actually with everything that's going on and how fast it's happening.
Yeah,
it's just it's blowing me away. I'm excited about it. But we do have midterms coming up, and so we need to start planning for that.
We can't
get our shit together.
Yeah, we can't take our foot off the gas.
Absolutely not at all.
Yeah.
The problem is the Republicans are, at least the local ones, pretty screwed up.
Yeah.
Sleeping.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. I got my phone blowing up about local stuff here in the party. And
I've got there's, speaking of local, and then I'll let you continue, Larry. There is a situation brewing. We're going to be doing a little bit of an expose on some stuff going on right here in Howell Township, where they're going after some veterans and stuff like that. And they've literally spent upwards of well over $20,000 on lawyer fees. And the person defended themselves, did not hire representation, and was found guilty of one count and not on the other 9. And the judge ultimately issued them a $100 fine. And the township spent $18,000 to prosecute this. Now, here's the coup de grace, is that now the township, after getting a guilty verdict on one count and a $100 fine, is appealing the other 9 or something like that.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And has already prepaid the lawyers another $8,000 of Howell Township citizens' money to go after somebody who was literally working out of their own garage doing projects for somebody else and was having a truck come by once a month to pick up these projects and deliver them to a client. And they said, you were working out of your garage, and that's in violation of you can't work out of your garage. And so they're being absolute assholes and going after it. I just got the information today. I'm going to work through it, compile it, get it together, and we may even have this person or somebody else familiar with the situation on as a guest on Sunday. particularly this Sunday, but a Sunday. And we will go through the whole thing. But we have some, no matter what you do, no matter what it could be governmental, it could be private, it could be a business, it could be schools, it could be whatever. You're going to have asshole people who get a grudge, who get full of themselves, and who just go after people for the sake of going after them, who have no merit. And until they're put in check, they're going to keep doing that. They're going to keep, it's having that one asshole neighbor that blows his fucking leaves into your yard until you go, all right, enough, dude. Why are you being a dick just to be a dick? Stop. And that's the type of situation we've got going here. And I didn't get a chance to, like I said, I've got to go through the video and I got to really flesh it out. But Mr. Coffee brought it to my attention today when he came for a visit. He sent me some of the links. And so I did get a chance to read some of it. But I'm going to bring a full expose on this, and we'll have a guest on a Sunday and really flesh this out, because we got to, we've got to wrangle these people in. I also had another conversation dealing with some of a slightly different perspective on the battery plant, but I enlightened a few people because we've gone through it, and so I may have somebody coming in talking about the Goshen battery situation. But I had some people coming from the business side of the issues who didn't see anything wrong with the Chinese company. I'm like, but it was in the contract that the Chinese company had their own private security, right, which is tantamount to having the CCP setting up security shops here. Larry, continue your final thought, buddy.
Well, my final thought is this. We need to just sit back now and watch everything that's unfolding, especially what's going on in Washington, D.C. Okay. All this stuff with the stock market and all this emotional.
They tried to crash
up and down. Oh, sure, they're trying deliberately to crash it. They were successful. The Democrats were successful in crashing everything in 2008. Mm-hmm. They did. They went off the deep end to do everything they could do to crash the markets, and they did it. Right? They did do that. And now they're trying to do it again. They're trying to sabotage President Trump, because with Democrats, it's like, to quote Alyssa Slotkin, it's
must be party before country.
Always.
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 Party first. That's how the Democrats operate. That's what they think. Although I'm not sure about Trump's tweet today or his message. I really do think Joe Biden was for open borders.
Oh, that was trolling. He was trolling.
Yeah,
that was 100% troll.
So
yeah,
it's hard to tell sometimes with Trump whether he's trolling or not. He's very good at trolling the Democrats.
Yeah,
and setting.
I think
them
Trump's
up.
only flaw is when not knowing when not
to troll them.
When to back off.
When to back off.
I mean, look, he backed off when he realized Marco Rubio was on board.
Yeah.
But he called him Little Marco for the longest time and trolled the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
And then finally Marco's like, look, dude, I'm on your side. He's like, okay, I'll stop calling him Little Marco.
Exactly.
And now Marco Rubio's
a medium Marco.
Well, no, now Marco Rubio is
Yes, he is.
He's standing next to that alpha male and almost being an alpha male himself with a big spine. Did you see him in the congressional hearings today? It was either today or yesterday.
Who was the one that was being absolutely fucking...
To where the chairman told him to shut the fuck up?
Yeah, that one. Who was that?
I don't know. One of the... He goes, at a certain point, he goes, you do not reflect the sentiments or the agenda
of the rest of this
committee, and your time is up, and you need to shut up. And Rubio didn't feed into that guy at all. He just kept right on point, and he says, nope. In fact, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. And I was like, damn, Rubio has really stepped up, because somebody with a pair of balls said, you want to work with me, kid? I got balls. You good, Larry?
Big balls.
Yep.
Big balls. All right, Tish. Speaking of big balls, I got to show you guys this one.
God, here we go.
Tish.
Big balls. No, I got to show you this one.
Oh, we got stones.
I got to show you this one. There it is.
Yeah.
got stones, and there's the Trump with the mega, the big mega truck, and then I don't know why it's all the way over on that side, but there's and then here's the GOP majority leaders, and their stones have to be found under a magnifying glass, whereas Trump's got the big balls right there.
Tweezers.
Yeah, they gotta find them with tweezers, and that's. I love going into that story of how that came about. Is that there was a steam engine configuration that they had years ago, and it was it had the steam. It had a column, and it went up, and Jay Leno did a whole thing on this with his car thing.
Okay.
When he was doing his Jay Leno's garage. And there's a steam engine, and when it ran, it had these two little balls that would spin.
Yeah.
And when your steam got up and there was enough power in the steam, the balls, they had a thing, and it would compress.
Okay.
And so the balls, when it started spinning, would be tight to the cylinder. And then as it spun faster and faster, the centrifugal force would pull them out like this.
Yeah.
That's where the whole thing of balls out. And do you have the balls, meaning do you have enough steam to get under power in your vehicle? And you look that up. That's where it came from. And now it's all morphed over into testicles and stuff like that. And I go, it's another one of those colloquialisms that cracks me up. I'm like, it has nothing to fucking to do with the testicles. It has to do, you got enough steam built up to where you can put it in gear and go.
Get moving.
Yeah.
I can see
That's
that.
funny.
Yeah, it cracks me up. All right, Tisha, give me your final thoughts over there.
So if we want to talk about libtards, I think we can talk about Taylor Swift.
Well, she's quite dense.
But this blonde American female might be onto something, I think, with her Eras tour.
Okay.
So now everybody is breaking apart and calling it like I'm in my empty nest era, or I'm in my teacher era, I'm in my mom life era, I'm in my dog life era, whatever. Everything's an era now. So I've decided that I am in my fun era.
Okay.
And if you don't like my bright neon pink glasses or the way I dress
now,
because
great.
I've been dressing in some kind of loud and obnoxious patterns.
And the problem is the light has bleached it out.
You can kind of get over it because I'm in my fun era. And
Correct.
so I'm just going to kick back and enjoy the fun.
You know what I'm going to have to do?
So,
another project I'm going to have to do so she can have her fun and see her is when I turn the light down, you and I get really dark on this side of the table.
You do.
You're bleached out over there. Yeah. Larry's like perfectly lit right now, other than his hat casting shadows.
Right. He doesn't drink, though.
But Patrick and I are, look at the side-by-sides. Patrick and I are really kind of dim back here.
According to the libtards in Livingston County, I'm an alcoholic.
You are.
Well,
I mean, I've seen it. Yep. But if you look across the table, it's the same light. The cameras are set at the same temps and all that shit.
I'm neon white. What do you want?
And Tisha is just lit up like Casper over here.
Oh.
And I'm like, they can't see your pink glasses differentiate. And I love them. I think they're great.
I tried them on. It's funny because they are kids' glasses. My nose, I have to wear kids' glasses. So the lady, she's like, I don't want to show you these because you're probably just going to push it aside, but I want you to at least try them on. The problem is that when I tried them on, I was wearing a pink shirt with some coral flowers and paisley other stuff in it. And so it matched the shirt I had on, and it was kick ass.
That's awesome.
And so I ended up with these bright neon kids glasses that came in a little, was that like silicone pouch?
Right.
With some stickers and stuff, just because they're kids' glasses. So it was really funny. But I'm in my fun era now. I'm just gonna.
That's fun.
I'm having fun.
That's awesome. John Bobby is telling me what I need for lights. You know what, John Bobby? I will be here tomorrow morning at 9:00, and you are welcome to come over and tell me what lighting we need, and then help me get somebody to go to thealexjonesstore.com/this is my brain and buy some great products over there and help support the show, because it gets a little pricey when I keep spending out of my own pocket.
Well, yeah, I get that. Absolutely.
But I love it. I got a lot. Somebody's asking me about this. I want to see this. There. I'm going to that. Right there. Look, balls out means to do something with maximum effort. The term likely originates from a mechanical governor used in steam engines where the weighted ball is extended outward when operated at full speed. Dun, dun, dun. I do some research here on the show. It's okay. So there it is. Balls out. And I'll actually do this one and do this. I let my pen dry out too much. Look at that. Give me another red one. Is there another red one there?
There's another one. It's a pinkish red.
There we go. So there's that. My final thought is figure out who's in charge. And I want to say it from this dynamic. Who's in charge of you? I thought about a number of things this week. We always end up gearing the Tuesday shows more towards the political dynamics. That's mostly Larry's fault. But we come in from the political aspect. But I thought about this dynamic of really discovering who you are, what's your true self, your authentic self. And it's a reoccurring thing for me because I'm always on that journey. I'm always on that place of figuring myself out. When I have a situation in my life, an outburst or something like that, if I get angry or if I get sad or if I have situations, I'm always looking to try to assess and figure out why. Not as necessarily always a defective thing to, why am I such a bad person or why but understanding why did I react that way or why did I respond that way or why did I say something? My grandson, my 4-year-old grandson disagreed with me the other day about lunch and him wanting to eat lunch in front of the TV in the back. And I said, no, we sit at the table. And he walked away from me. And I finally said, you walk away from me, I'm going to whoop your ass.
Mm-hmm.
And I said it with enough weight in my voice and enough tone to where he turned around and realized he wasn't going to win.
Right.
And there's a little bit of it. And I realized I watched my mom do it. I've watched myself do it with my kids is there's times when you have to be a little harsh and a little bit forceful to get somebody's attention. But that little kid knows that I love him beyond, I'm like, I love you to pieces, but you're not. And what you find out is that kids are trying to find their boundaries. They're trying to find their limitations with you, with each individual person. How far can I push you? And do you actually care enough to stop me, to get after me or to tell me no? If I'm on the edge of a cliff and I'm about to go off, will you yell at me with enough force to get my attention that I don't fall off? And that's a dynamic that I think we lose. We want to be nice all the time. We want to coddle people and everything like that. And my daughter had to learn this journey a little bit hard. She was a little bit, easy up front. And she was even upset with me and grandma at sometimes when we would get after her kids. And she's like, I need you to yell at my kids and stuff like that. And I go, yeah, but, and I had this one time with Silas, her middle child. I told him to do something and he turned around and gave me that, like this little look and walked away from me. And I was on him like that, snatched him up, swatted his ass and brought him back in here and made him sit on the stage until I was satisfied that he got the message. Oh. And you know what? From that day forward,
he respected you.
That not only respected me, that kid, when they pull in the driveway and gets out of the car, he comes in the door and he runs to me now. Grandpa, got to get that hug. Because he knows I will not put up with his bullshit. Mm-hmm. And I expect him to be the best that he's going to be. And I will back it up. And he knows that comes from a complete and absolute place of love. Mm-hmm. And I think we're all dealing with our lives and dealing with the struggles, dealing with everything that's in us. And we need to figure out who we are, and then we need to help each other be mirrors for each other and reflect back and let people know, what's going on. And that's always that constant process. And again, it comes back to tonight's theme. And I think Dino even said, he's like, that theme seems familiar. Like last month we said, who's in charge? I'm like, yes, but now it's come to light about Biden having cancer, auto pen, all this stuff. And we go, who was really in charge for the last 4 years? We know who's in charge now.
Yeah.
Right.
But who was in charge for the last 4 years in all these places and having this dynamic?
In his administration, in his world, it was Jill. Jill was the one who ran the program there.
Yeah. Larry, what did you have over there that you want to say real quick?
There was a story we talked about earlier that I sent you.
Okay.
Remember Ashley Babbitt?
Oh,
$5
yes,
million?
dude, I was looking for that.
You wanted to
I
make sure we
did.
covered that. So
I did. We'll say this right at the end. Ashley Babbitt was it $5 or $6 million?
$5 million.
$5 million settlement with the government. Was that this one? Yeah.
Yes.
So the Trump administration agrees to pay the Ashley Babbitt's family $5 million. Not enough to me.
For the wife of your child, but then
No.
again, what amount is enough? There is-
Correct. I'm thinking of
no
some
amount of money is ever going to bring that
Correct.
poor young lady back.
But I'm thinking of some of the settlements that I've seen come through for
Well,
wrongful deaths. That
one
have
of the
been,
better things is that cops should be freaking fried.
he should be.
Bullshit.
And according to Larry, reading Larry was my authority on this earlier. I said, has anything happened? I think I agree with you 100%. I think that. All right. So let's read this. The Department of Justice agreed in principle to pay $5 million to the family of Ashley Babbitt, a former Air Force veteran who was shot dead during the Capitol riots. Babbitt's estate, through her husband, filed a $30 million lawsuit last year over her fatal shooting when she attempted to climb through a broken window of the barricaded door leading to the speaker's lobby inside the Capitol. Attorneys for both the Justice Department of Babbitt's estate said during a court hearing on Friday that they had reached an agreement in principle to resolve the case, according to reports. Now, just reading this preliminary, knowing that it was a $30 million initial lawsuit, and then looking at this settling for $5 million, I don't think this family was ever looking for money. I think you were looking for an admission of guilt from the government that this was a wrongful death.
The government was clearly guilty. Like I don't care what they did. They murdered her.
100%.
Right. They murdered her. They shot her in the neck with a rubber bullet.
Yeah.
Not a single bullet needed to be fired.
Right.
Correct.
Was she wrong for going in a window? Sure. Okay.
From what I saw, she wasn't standing in a window. She was standing in a hallway, and there was a bunch of there was doors, and then they had a bunch of chairs, and that piled up against the doors. And cops shot her through the window. She was standing there. With a bunch of other
she wasn't even fully.
I saw the video.
Yeah,
I did not see the video.
Yeah,
she was not climbing through any window.
And
wasn't there a report saying that she was climbing through a window?
She was approaching the window.
Yeah,
she may have been in line with the window, but that's why Tucker Carlson was fired from Fox News, because he was about to release tons of footage about January 6th that disproves the Nancy Pelosi HBO fucking official story that it was this insurrection worse than Pearl Harbor bullshit.
It was never an insurrection.
It was never an insurrection. How do you have an insurrection when nobody's charged with a single felony? Not a single felony.
Not a single gun crime.
And not a single gun crime.
Man, nobody had any firearms.
All they were was trespassing misdemeanors, and they held people in prison for years.
Yes.
That's why Trump was rightly convinced and did when he got into office. Initially, he was going to hold back on a few people, and he said, no, due process was violated, and no matter what they did, everybody needs a partner.
Well, we had a guest on this show on it. He came in on a Sunday from up near Midland, I believe.
Yeah.
And he was at January 6th, and he was going through a trial when he received his pardon. But it still cost him his wife.
What was that guy?
Yeah.
I don't remember his name.
Ryan?
Oh, you're talking about Ryan Kelly that came here.
Oh yeah.
that's a different
Jeremy
guy.
was the other guy.
I'm talking about Jeremy. Something.
What was it? Jeremy.
He was a young kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was a young kid.
He was great.
January 6th.
I think he was just there. I don't think he went in.
Oh yeah, he went in.
Yeah, we broke down the whole thing that happened.
He went
we
in
were pulling
and he
up the
walked
maps
around.
Yeah.
And they had him on video telling everybody, see these statues? Don't touch these. These
Yep.
are American history.
Yep. And his one thing that he did was an officer was assaulting somebody else. I think it was right.
Yeah, there was.
And he took his flagpole and whacked him on the head to kind of get their attention to snap him out of beating the shit out of somebody.
Yeah.
And they charged him with that assault. And I think he was a day away from going to go serve his sentence. And he got his pardon or something like that.
Yeah. Did he get convicted? Did it get that far?
Yeah.
I just remember that.
But he fought and fought.
Yeah, he fought. Yeah.
And it destroyed his marriage.
Well, no case. A lot of people don't realize this. No case is actually finished. And you are not convicted of a crime. You are not a felon until you get sentenced.
Right.
Even after the day you get convicted, the jury says guilty. Until that judge sentences you, you're not a felon, and the case is not closed.
So
they only have so many days from that verdict to sentence you.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't, the case gets dismissed.
Correct.
Right.
It says here, continuing the article, Babbitt was one of hundreds of President Donald Trump's supporters who entered and attempted to breach the Capitol. That's a lie. He didn't attempt to breach the People's House when Nancy Pelosi on record refused additional National Guard troops that Trump asked, approached Nancy Pelosi and the Mayor Bowser. Both of them offered 20,000 National Guard troops to help crowd control. Both of them turned him down. And then they set this up as these shitty barricades, these corrupt Capitol Police.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted a spectacle because they knew they were stealing the election for the puppet Joe Biden, the now cancer-ridden puppet.
I want to see some of these assholes go to prison.
Fucking right.
My thing is, you have a minimum of 3 and upwards of 5 permitted events going on in the same general location.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to pin it all on one of those groups?
They convicted the
No, I understand. I'm just saying, the logic isn't there.
No.
There's so many things going on at once here.
Yeah.
That to just take one group of people and say, okay, you guys are the ones that are guilty.
And
not these ones over here praying, not these ones
Correct.
over here protesting, not these ones over here doing this.
Correct.
Not these, but those people that were at that rally a mile or so
they have
down
to
the
be the
road,
ones. Yeah.
they are the ones that have obviously caused all this
Correct.
havoc.
And Mr. 8647 Comey said under oath that he didn't know how many of his agents were involved.
Stupid.
Merrick Garland said, the AG said he didn't know how many. It's an ongoing investigation. I don't know how many people. He's like, just tell me how many government people were infiltrating the crowd and doing this. They can't tell that because you know what they'll find out is the absolute vast majority of them were government aid provocateurs trying to stir up the crowd to do stuff. And Jacob Chansley is one of the biggest ones of he's the Q shaman, they call him.
Yeah.
He walked through the Capitol. He told people, this is the people's house, behave, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. Hey, this is this. He was walking with Capitol Police the entire time. They were escorting him or alongside of him. He was asking permission multiple times, and they so browbeat him and intimidated him when he got in a government court case that he pled guilty and served, I think, 3.5 or 4 years for that. 3.5 years. And they treated him like garbage like that. And he was the one that asked for permission to go up and stand at the podium over the House representative over the podium there and pray over the people's houses. And that's how he got treated.
Mm-hmm.
The Democrats and their leftist fucking agenda are some of the worst fucking people. They're horrible. Thank you. Worst fucking people. There's the F-bomb. Ray Epps, FBI employee directing the crowd. He's on multiple videos. We have to go into the Capitol. And they start chanting at him, Fed, 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 because they know he's a fucking Fed. And there were a few people that thought, hey, the doors are open. I guess we can go into the Capitol like we should be able to do any other time. You know, and I guarantee you, Ashley's in the crowd and she's looking. I can almost guarantee you, because I watched the video too, and I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. She probably saw that window broken out by a Fed. She looked over to see what was going on and started to approach it to find out what was going on. She's a military girl. And as she's approaching it, not for malicious purposes, but to see what's going on, that's when this fucking officer, who was, I believe, Pelosi's private security or Schumer's private security, shoots her with a rubber bullet at near point blank within a few feet. And a rubber bullet at point blank will definitely do some damage. And yeah, so it's this is all going to come out one way or another, and God's going to bring it, and we're going to see who's in charge. Right now, we have a phenomenal anointed man of God who wasn't a praying president when he took office, but he is a man who prays now.
And I loved it when the authorities in one of the prisons in Washington, D.C. would not allow anybody to leave, the J6ers who had been pardoned. And Trump sent U.S. Marshals and U.S. attorneys over there and went in and told them, you can become inmates in this prison right now. Right now.
Yeah.
We will lock you up right now.
Yeah.
You know, we want them out of here now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tim saying that her shooter had significant disciplinary history, including gun incidents. There's a report on that. Yeah, I think we went over it when it was back a couple years ago when it was initially stuff. So thank you all for tuning in tonight. It's been a great show. We appreciate everything. Like, share, and subscribe. Do all that shit. Make sure you hit the thumbs up, depending on what platform you're on. Always go over to Rumble and hit the thumbs up over there. Hope you enjoyed the show. Again, Tim posted it in the chat, the live chat there. I don't know if he posted it in the comments section on there, but thealexjonesstore.com/This Is My Brain. That's our affiliate. This Is My Brain on there. And we get a little bit of a kickback from that, and it helps on the show.
So buy a lot.
Helps, dude. I was going to go over that. Vince just got it. My order hasn't come in yet, but Vince just brought over the turmeric gummies, and since he brought them over yesterday, I've been gobbling those down. The sea moss gummies, and the biggest thing is the methylene blue tincture, the dropper, and I've been on it 2 days. Already noticed a bit of a difference. They say that people that are healthier will not notice as much. And I was talking with Dean and Vince at the job site yesterday, and I said, you know what I found is that when I start taking stuff, I see a gradual health increase. And it's only when I stop taking it
that shit goes sideways,
that I start going, what is going on? I was feeling great, and I stopped taking it. So when you're really healthy, what I found is that you don't get this initial just everything's perfect 2 days later.
Right.
It takes time. But then also when you stop taking it, it's going to gradually go down and go down and go down. And then you're going to realize one day, you're going to go, dude, my arm's aching and my shoulder's aching. And what's going on again? And I'm like, I haven't been taking my turmeric for the last 3 weeks. You know, it's that type of, when you're taking real supplements, good stuff that's significant for you, you shouldn't, unless you're really in poor health. If you're pretty healthy, you shouldn't have this huge automatic, this is just my take on it. You shouldn't have this huge automatic health change. You might have a significant reaction, like all of a sudden you're feeling energized and everything like that, but your overall health shouldn't be like, I feel like, you know, and what we discovered, or what we said in the parking lot was, we said, when you're taking good stuff, good supplements, stuff that's actually good for you, you get into a place of feeling normal. And it's only then when you stop taking them that you start to feel not normal, feel less healthy again. but you don't feel supernatural on the good, healthy stuff. You feel balanced. You feel good. You feel healthy. And so I've been just 2 days taking those. I was already taking a bunch of other supplements, Brain Force and a few other things. So go on the alexjonesstore.com/this is my brain. Helps out our show in a little bit of a way, helps out the Alex Jones Store, which we get so much of our information from. They're doing a hell of a job over there, along with a whole bunch of other people. And that's where it is. And we will see you guys. We'll probably have somebody on Sunday.
Yeah. Nobody is scheduled on Sunday at this point,
but we'll let you know.
Yep. And in conclusion, I'd like to ask everybody to pray for the family of George Wendt, who played Norm on Cheers, who passed away this morning.
Condolences out there for George Wendt's family.
Yes.
Yeah.
The big guy.
For sure.
The big guy.
Norm.
Absolutely. All right, guys. We'll catch you next time.
This is my brain.
Dad, that's an egg.
Yeah, that's an egg.
Honey,
Dude.
that's an egg.
Seriously.
That's an egg.
It's a metaphor.
It's still an egg.
That's an egg.
I would challenge you.
That's an egg.
I know my brain is not actually an egg, okay? It's a metaphor.
Metaphor or not, that's not your brain.
It's just an egg.
Una cerveza para mí. My egg is my brain.
Can I at least have some bacon, maybe some sausage with that egg, though?
Oh, I want some bacon.
I want crepes.
Have some bacon and pancakes with that egg.
I'll take it with cheese.
Extra large brown cage-free eggs.
Can I have your brain with cakes?
A little sausage and a little toast and potato.
That would be great.
Does it have antibiotics?
I don't know, man. I'm not good at this shit.
Well, they got to be able to resist some diseases.
You resist the disease.
Has it got any hormones?
Maybe. It's cage free.
Vegetarian?
Maybe.
Are they vegan?
No, I eat steak.
Never apologize and never explain.
Never apologize.
Never apologize and never explain.